You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks1, home of Braves Country Baseball and the Armchair Quarterback Show, Saturday mornings. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks1.
I have said enough for a lifetime. And for the last time, I wish you all a very pleasant good afternoon.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. CBS Sports Radio. Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
I think my jersey was one of the top selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it, but nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to my dream school where I wanted to go, the passion for it, and if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team, it's about your university, it's about where my family wanted to go, and you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
Armchair.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Armchair Quarterback Radio, the gunslingers of sports talk.
And here's second-year quarterback Brett Favre out of Southern Mississippi by way of the Atlanta Falcons. They are hopeful he can succeed in the NFL. Here, Brett Favre, you want a challenge? Try this one. So with their best receiver out of the game, from the 35, 19 seconds left. Ball pumps, throws, touchdown! Is there a spark of life in Green Bay? Touchdown! Yes!
Danny Marino! Here's Marino, wide open field, throws for a touchdown. It is number 37 on the season, breaks the all-time NFL record. Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Duper. Duper has returned, and he is super.
They are going to bring pressure again. Rodgers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer, and Janis does not stop it. Oh, please.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, all season long, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
The Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, all season long, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. And we'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
I might audible. If I audible, I'll use
Omaha! Omaha! Red Polly! Blue poncho! Dewey! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Chop, Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Sally, Buffalo! Check! Hey, Short Ox! Buda Raiders! Red Lion! Omaha! Time out!
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
You're talking about a bunch of unproven kids who were in the prom. You know, literally, they were in the prom like 6 months ago at their high school.
No, they weren't because they were
locked down.
Exactly.
Okay, they were at a.
He's probably from a
promless
teenagers.
If he's from a Big Ten state,
point. They were at a.
If he's from a Big Ten state, he didn't have prom. I can guarantee you that.
They were at a virtual prom. Anyway, so yeah, it's tough for Wisconsin.
That's called porn. That's called porn.
Stop it. They get a break this week because I got a mess to clean up, guys. Yeah.
Virtual.
There's
prom.
my walk off for the day. Thanks, Mac. I got to dry my keyboard out now.
Hey, Braves fans. Thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub boat. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing? Do you know what's going to happen if...
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game.
We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida.
That's Desmond Howard going in motion on 2nd down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Threw it to the sideline.
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the...
They're down to the 20, but the fans are out on the field. There were flags all over the place. The most amazing, sensational, traumatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw down. He's going to go deep. I mean deep, and I mean touchdown! Miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. Does it skip? Saquon Barkley in the clear. Saquon Barkley. Oh, so 79.
It's a 31-30 game, and what are they doing? Do? I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for 2 and take a shot at winning. I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. Here come the Seminoles of Florida State. It's a battle for flagging and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started.
Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 Hurricanes.
morning. How are you, Doug?
Good, doing good.
I'll be on the camera here in 1 second, having a little technical issue, but we'll get it straightened out. Got your Reds kicking.
Okay.
I said, I see you got your Reds kicking today.
Oh, yeah. Little FSU here, little Reds here.
Oh, that's an FSU hat. My bad. Good job. Here we go. I do apologize. I had the wrong. Well, it doesn't matter what the hell happened. It's over now. All right. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Show. A little clunky beginning, but I do apologize. Thought I had the right camera set, and now we are ready to go. Doug is here with us on the way. You got Joey and Tones. In the second hour, Bobby will join us, and in the third hour, Sean and Steven. So we got a full show to do and a little time to do it in. What about that baseball last night? I'm assuming that you watched a lot of the baseball yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I watched as much as I possibly could cram in. My God, what happened to the Cardinals in the ninth?
First of all, the first thing I want to address is the stupid start times. People can't take off on Friday to watch all 4 games. It's asinine to even try to do it that way. I think Major League Baseball should really look into doing 2 double headers next year. And maybe you stagger, maybe you start 1 at 5 and 1 at 6 and 1 at 7, right? You know, something like that. But you're going to get more viewership. I guarantee you nobody watched that Tampa Cleveland game.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think the ratings were for that? It had to have been terrible. And they'll compare that against some other ratings for like the first round of the NBA playoffs or something. And you're like, you can't compare the two because one's going on at Friday at noon because Manfred's a moron, as opposed to, I mean, bare minimum, it should be 4 p.m. Eastern. But I'm leaning more 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. 5 o'clock Eastern, that's 4 o'clock Central. If you live on the West Coast, you're used to dealing with it, suck it up, whatever.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners' first playoff game in 20 years took place at 1 o'clock local time. The hell are they doing? What in the hell are they doing? So just a very bad job by Major League Baseball and ESPN. ESPN should stand their ground and say, look, we want better ratings. Why do you have ESPN, ESPN2, the ACC network, the SEC network, ESPN News, and all these ESPN pluses if we're not going to use them?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell was on ESPN2 last night, but I know what could have been on ESPN2, a hell of a Cardinals-Philly finale. I get that you would want that you would want San Diego, California, and New York City to be on your major ESPN at 8 o'clock Eastern. I get that part. But there's no reason why St. Louis and Philly couldn't have been on at 6, 7 o'clock on ESPN2, right?
Yeah.
And there's no reason why ABC wanted again. So there's no reason why you couldn't have made maybe make the Cardinals Phillies the ABC game at 7 o'clock, but at 7 o'clock on ESPN2, because it's more likely that you and I are going to see more of it if there's 3 on at one time and you're either A, you're channel surfing, or B, you've jumped into this century and you have more than one device, right? So anyways, stupid as hell, dumb as hell. And I guarantee you the advertisers would see the difference. And I know it's just the first round. You got to get through that first, but it's stupid. Now, today I don't have a problem with it. It's a Saturday. Tomorrow I don't have a problem with it. It's a Sunday. You put them on at whatever times you want to put them on, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan of that team, you'll find a way. But if you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan, if you're a Cleveland Guardians fan, you probably didn't get a chance to see your team. If you did, That's probably the only thing you watched. And then you were worn out and you said, to hell with this, I'm going to go do something else. So, but anyways, back to your original point. I just had to get that off. I've been steaming about this for a week now once I saw the times coming out. I'm interested to see what they're going to do Tuesday when the NL and ALDS come out, and you're going to have 4 games start, which is dumb. They should have started 2 on Tuesday and 2 on Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have what they should have done is have the 2-1 seeds start on Tuesday, giving them a better advantage of whoever is in other words, the 1 seeds are the Dodgers and the Astros. You would get an advantage because the team you play has only had 1 day of rest. And the 2 seeds start on Wednesday, and they don't get that advantage. Because instead what they're doing, they're starting all 4 on Tuesday, and then 2 of them are taking Wednesday off, and then the other 2 will do the normal, play Tuesday, Wednesday, and have off Thursday. That's stupid as hell.
Yeah.
When you start a series in baseball, this isn't freaking basketball. You need to start it and let it go organically. Don't try to cram it. Yeah. But anyways, back to your original. I'll get off that. I got to let it go. So pissed. MLB just consistently makes stupid ass decisions. Anyways, Cardinals, Phillies. That couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of guys.
So
I tell you what. All I was gonna say was that I haven't seen a game like that 9th inning. When I was a kid, back in '79 with the Game 4 of the World Series, Orioles. Watching that 6th game come back in Game 4 of the World Series, because I think it has the same impact. And I think what happened yesterday with Cardinals, I think could have an impact. We could see Philly winning the series. I think it had that kind of impact.
I haven't seen an implosion like that in the 9th inning since I saw the Phillies do it against the damn Mets at the beginning of the year. And that's coming against the Phillies. Trust me on that. So this is back when we were doing the game of the week. It was Steven, Tones and I, and we were doing the game of the week, and they were playing the Mets, and they imploded. They were it's either a 7 or 8 run lead that they had going into the 9th inning, and they couldn't get anybody out. They lost to the Mets, right?
Yeah.
And I said then, but I wasn't taking into consideration that Milwaukee was going to absolutely crumble. But I said then that I didn't think Philadelphia would make the playoffs, because you can't be a playoff team if you have no bullpen and your defense is lousy. But Milwaukee kind of spit the bit, and so Philly grabbed the final playoff spot.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say that Philadelphia is a playoff team. They are a playoff team by default. Now they can take advantage of it, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing that I'm going to say about this. Sean didn't know what I was referencing with Helsley, Ryan Helsley. We were texting back and forth, and I said, heck with that guy is basically what I said. And he didn't know what I was talking about, because Sean's not the Braves fan that I am. Back in 2019, in the playoffs against the Atlanta Braves, Ryan Helsley is the guy. People will remember the incident. They just don't remember the guy. Ryan Helsley, we all in Braves country remember him and hate him. He's the guy that in the middle of the series started whining about the tomahawk chop and saying that it was racist and it was this and it was that, and claiming his Cherokee heritage. By the way, they're genius. I'd say about 70% of us in the United States have some kind of Native American heritage. I know I have it, right? My grandmother was half Cherokee. But the Indian tribes in the South around the Atlanta Braves organization have embraced the chop and embraced the organization, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a damn leg to stand on, but he continues to whine about it. I read in July of 2022, so 3 months ago, this jackass was whining to the LA Times again about it. I guess he was out there for the All-Star game. I don't know if he was actually in the All-Star game. I would say he probably was. He had a pretty good year. But the fact that he crumbled made me happier than hell. Even though he was playing the Phillies, I was happier than hell that he was the one that crumbled. And of course, he started going, I can't feel my fingers. You can't feel your legs. That's what you can't feel, because the moment got too big for you. That's also the same. Also the same series that the Mike Fultonevich couldn't feel his fingers and couldn't feel his legs and gave up 10 runs in the first inning of Game 5 of the deciding game against the Cardinals. But when he complained and whined about the chop and they came back for Game 5, the players even said there was a weird atmosphere because they weren't playing the chop like they normally do. They had been giving out things like foam tomahawks. All that stuff was banned from the state. It was just a weird vibe, and a lot of folks believe that that's what caused the collapse, because everyone was just kind of on edge, and it was all because of Ryan Helsley. So if that bum chokes it out, I'm here for it. That's all I got to say on that.
Okay. And I tell you what, another game I had to kind of like tape delay and watch it later, and I'm glad I did. Now you know why they Seattle grabbed Louis Castillo like he did. What a great pitching game. One of the best I've seen in a while. And as a Reds fan, I miss him already, watching him pitch as well as he did against the Blue Jays. I mean, he shut them down. I mean, he made them look like they were standing still all day long. I mean, he pitched, 7.5 innings of shutout ball? That's some of the best I've seen out of him in a while.
You're talking about you?
Yeah, I'm talking, yeah.
I was noticing that if you, so the one thing the Mets mantra all year long has been what? They take pitches, they get the starting pitcher in trouble deep into the count. Deep into counts early in the game, right?
Right.
They didn't get to do that last night. Yarvish went right at him. And if you were going to sit there and try to take pitches and try to fight them off, Yarvish has the movement, the late movement on his pitches. He was getting them out. And so like the pesky hitters, like the Brandon Nemos, and I mean, I can go down the line, but I always think of him and McNeil at the top of the order. They couldn't do it. I noticed they were in the 7th inning. He was only at 83 pitches. That's not okay. Conversely, when Spencer Strider went against New York in New York and he had that terrible game, he was at like 60 pitches in the middle of the 3rd inning. Because they were just fouling him off. So old Buckball didn't work on you, Darvish, last night. I'll be interested to see. It's DeGrom, so they're going to push DeGrom up, and I do believe that DeGrom and Buck Showalter, I think he's gotten too cute, because he originally said that he was going to pitch on Sunday, and now that they lost, he's going to pitch him tonight. Why the hell he wouldn't have already been scheduled to pitch tonight? You put your best pitchers out, and then you figure when you get to an elimination game, you figure it out, right? That's the way you always do. But he was trying to be cute because he thought he would win with Scherzer, have a chance to win today, and then not have to use DeGrom going into the LA series.
Yeah.
So he's already planning to play the Dodgers before he's beaten the Padres. And I guarantee the Padres took that as a challenge. And I'm tired of hearing people say, well, I think Max Scherzer's a little injured. I think there's something wrong with him. Josh Bell has owned his ass his entire career. So it's got nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that those guys hit him. His velocity was not down. His command was a little off, but sometimes, he's also 38 years old. You gave $43 million a year, a 3-year deal, to a guy that by the time he's done is going to be 41. Not everybody's Justin Verlander. And not everyone's going to pump steroids in their butt like Roger Clemens and be able to push the clock back.
Yeah.
Anyways,
exactly.
Stupid underdog picks.
Let's
get on that. By the way,
all right.
Your boy Castillo had a hell of a game yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was talking about Castillo. That's some of the best pitching I've seen out of him. Period.
Well, actually, if you were talking about you Darvish, and you said yes.
Oh, I would say no.
Sorry, I was checking something for a second. I wasn't sure if you were talking about you Darvish or Castillo. I'll be honest, I didn't watch much of the Mariners Blue Jays game. By the time the Cardinals game was over, it was 4-0. And I had other things I had to get done, and I just that series doesn't interest me at all. I hope it's a good series. I'm not nothing against the fan bases. I just don't care about Seattle, Washington, and Canada. I'm like, ugh. That's the game.
I know.
They got the Rays in Cleveland playing at noon again today. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
I won't be able to watch that because I'm going to be more focused on Florida, Missouri, and Tennessee, LSU at noon.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put these games on in the evening. It's stupid. But anyways.
I know.
Stupid underdog picks. You finally took one on the chin.
Yes. Once too often. Once too often,
you took one on the chin.
Yeah.
It happens.
It can.
Before we get into the stupid underdog picks, because we're going to wait for Joey and Tones to jump on here. The Raiders, Monday night, Kansas City. This feels like...
Yeah. It is do or die, but unlike a lot of people talking, it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City's second... I mean, the over and under in that game, I've got that. My personal over-under is 71 in that game. I think you could see touchdown after touchdown in that game. Still say Kansas City will probably win, but they're going to light it up because Kansas City secondary doesn't stop anybody. So, where's
that game at?
Arrowhead.
Oh, geez. Boat race.
Yeah.
Although the one thing about the Raiders, now, of course, coaching has changed, but they tend to get Kansas City for whatever reason.
Yeah, they've had their number from the last couple of years. They've given Kansas City fits. But I'm just going to say in this game, we're thinking about a lot of scoring. And a lot of Raider fans like me have been saying this lately. In the Denver game, it showed Raiders run the damn ball. Just simply run the ball. When Jacobs have run the ball, we've been effective this season. Just run the ball. Granted, I just, every time he does it, we either get close to winning or like last week with the Broncos, we won. Run the damn ball. I don't get McDaniel, excuse my throat. But just run the ball. Jacobs has been very effective.
It looks like Hunter Renfrow is going to be back today. I mean, Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had his red shirt on in practice, so I figured he was going to be on.
From the fantasy football perspective, I am so glad that I steered away from any wide receiver wearing a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. Because, anyone named not Travis Kelce. I feel like this is like when Brady was in his prime in New England. You never know who the hell you can stream in that game. And so I'm so glad that I steered clear of that. There's a couple of things there's a couple other scenarios that I'm glad I steered clear of that I saw a lot of people jumping on that I'm very glad I steered clear of. There's a couple that I wish I had stayed away from. How is your, we don't talk a lot of fantasy in this segment, but how are your fantasy seasons going right now?
So far, so good. Not too bad. I mean, the Reggae League, I'm winning ugly, but I'm staying ahead of everybody in that league. And the other ones, I'm giving as good as I got.
I'm not doing too bad. I got some leagues that I'm undefeated in, some of them 3-1. I think I've got one that I'm 1-3. Most of them I'm either 2-2 or better in. which is good because a lot of times, because I play in so many damn leagues, usually I have at least a handful where I'm like, I gotta get a win this week or it's over, because you just don't. It's really hard to focus when you're in this many leagues. But I tried to condense it down this year. As far as I'm still in a boat ton of leagues, but I tried to go at it from a different angle, and I think it's working. But one of the most what's your biggest disappointment in fantasy football this year of all the guys you've drafted?
Right now, I have to say Darren Waller is my biggest disappointment.
God,
he is just,
dude. In one league, I got him and Kittle, and I'm like, both of you stink.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. Watch him drop pass after pass after pass. I'm like, right after a contract extension, it never fails to happen. Every time I got a player gets a big contract, never mind. I'm not going to catch that ball. Never mind. I don't want that touchdown.
I'm starting to embrace the theory. I didn't do it in many drafts. I did only at a couple because I wanted to see how it worked out. But I'm starting to embrace the theory of the 0 RB draft. And what that means is you get your receivers before you draft your first running back. And I thought that was nuts. And I thought that was kooky dukes. And I thought that was when I first heard about it. And a lot of it, I felt like, well, a lot of this, we're talking about best ball, right? Which is a different animal. But I'm starting to think that maybe there's a reason. And one of the things that I'm seeing more than anything else is your receivers in today's game are much more consistent than the running backs. Man, anyone who drafted CMC is just pulling their hair out at this point. Because we know the talent's there. It'd be one thing if you're like, dude, he doesn't have it anymore. The talent is there. But you have to be blessed with the running back whose coach is going to use them, like a Derrick Henry, like a Saquon Barkley, right?
Yep.
There are times where you're like, I don't know what the hell, dude. Matt Rule should have been fired yesterday. I don't know what he's doing.
No, I don't know what he's doing either. And it's hard to watch
Rule
every
come
week.
back, take over Nebraska, and just call it a day. By the way, that game was more entertaining than I thought it would be. I ended up watching some of that when the Mets game turned into a blowout. Nebraska, how about them coming back and winning? I caught them on the live money line at the beginning of the game when they were down 7-0. I took them plus 5.5. And I was parlaying it with the Padres plus a 1.5. This is right before the Padres game started. So I grabbed Nebraska. I grabbed that. Boom! Chicken dinner. Welcome into the show is Mr. Tampa Tones. Tampa, how the hell is you?
Good, my friend. It was an exciting night of college football yesterday. A couple of good baseball games sprinkled in there yesterday as well. Of course, I couldn't watch one of those early games because, some of us have a thing called a job. So that was pretty unfortunate, especially because I pull for the Rays if the Cubs are out of it. So I couldn't even,
fine, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't even support couldn't support my guys out there.
You couldn't even fake being sick early and get out of work. No, I'm not going to miss a whole day of pay.
Right. It's like 11 a.m. By the time you get into work, you might as well stay there. So I'm really looking forward to actually watching the Rays game today and a good day of baseball. And it's exciting to see who teams like the Braves and the Yankees will play come next round.
Let me take this off for a second.
And the Mets, how about them, man? They're continuing to Met as of right now, it looks like. Yesterday, they could not get anything going. So it'll be interesting as they face elimination today to see if they're out after today, a lot of their fan base will be sour grapes after the type of year they had.
Showalter will never admit it. And we'll see if they rebound. But I'm telling you, that gut punch the Braves gave him last weekend, they are still feeling it up here. Scherzer got pounded. That's one thing. I don't think Scherzer getting pounded had much to do with it. Scherzer's been around too long, right? Scherzer just didn't have it. I also feel like Scherzer's not the dominant pitcher he used to be. He's still very, very, very good, but he's not automatic anymore. So you can get him on the long ball. But the team going into that game last night, dude, they were punchless against you, Darvish. And they better wake the hell up, because as much as I don't like Blake Snell, he has looked much better recently. And he is on the mound today. It's Snell versus DeGrom. That's your 7:37 game. Folks want to know how it lays out today. It's a little better. Padres Mets at 7:37. An hour later, it's Phillies Cardinals. And I get to sandwich right in the middle of that at 8 p.m. Eastern, Florida State, NC State. So I'm going to be wired around like freaking 8:15 Eastern. Guardians and Rays are at noon. It's a 12:07 first pitch. All these times are Eastern. Excuse me. And Mariners Blue Jays 4:07. So it's a little better spread out today. I think they should have done more of this last night. You should have had the Phillies and Cardinals separated by an hour of the Padres Mets, because at that point you could have flipped back and forth. Because how many viewers did they lose when the game turned into a blowout and they said, to hell with this, I'm not watching this anymore? Your average baseball fan could have flipped over and watched a different game. And they've done it in the past. I don't know what the hell they were thinking yesterday. But anyways, tomorrow, if there are 4 games, which I don't think there will be, I think you'll get at least one team eliminated today. The times are 2, 4, 7:30, and 8:30. That's dumb once again.
Yeah, completely.
What's the 2 and 4 p.m. thing about? I don't mind the 7:30, 8:30. 7:30, 8:30 is fine. But what the hell is the 2 and 4 p.m. thing about? So you're going to start the Guardians game in the 7th inning of the Blue Jays Mariners? If it's an elimination game, come on. Either start them at the same damn time, or at least start the Mariners Blue Jays game by 1 p.m. Oh, and what the hell are they doing as the early game? Seattle fans. That's 11 a.m. on Sunday. Anyways, makes no sense. 0 sense. But I'm hoping for Phillies Cardinals to go 3 and tomorrow night's game to go about 27 innings. So that's what I'm pulling for, because we get the winner.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was hoping. So yesterday, I'm pulling for Helsley to crap the bed because I hate him. But then I wanted the Cardinals to come back and tie it in the 9th, because I was like, well, let's start wearing these bullpens down. Let's go. Let's go. But if nothing else, I'm like, if nothing else, Helsley's got that in the back of his mind. He's already blown one, and the fan base is going to be flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get off the whole thing? The Cardinals are the greatest fan base in baseball. Droves of them left the stadium when it became like 5-2 in the 9th. It's a playoff game, 4:30 local time on a Friday. Where the hell do you have to be?
Yup, I couldn't agree more.
And you wonder why the Rams left. Well, they're the smartest baseball fans that know baseball. The Cardinals brought the tying run to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't come through, but they brought the tying of Yadier Molina. What if he jacks one in a stadium that's half empty, but 50,000 people will claim that they were there when it happened?
I didn't go anywhere.
And normally I respect Cardinal fans, but that was chicken bleep.
I think we've seen it the other night too in the Broncos game. Their fans are leaving in that one.
Pathetic. Yes. Well, I'll say this.
Yeah, I saw that.
A, that's a regular season game. B, it was late, and the ones I saw leaving, most of them had kids with them. They're probably like, we got to get to school.
True.
C, that game was absolute hot garbage. And it is continuing to kill Thursday Night Football ratings. And I don't think it's Herb Street and Al Michaels' fault by any stretch of the imagination. It's because the games that they're getting are absolutely trash every week.
Just win, baby. Just win.
Dude, that game was terrible. And I mean, I think you already know the Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. You won that game. This season's over. Matt Ryan, I told you.
No shot. It's not over.
Matt Ryan was going to be a worse version of Phillip Rivers. He is garbage.
AFC South is garbage, so we're still in it till the end, as always.
The South isn't great, but the Titans will win enough games where they'll separate themselves from that garbage. I'm not convinced that the Jaguars are going to put it together. I hope they do. I really am pulling for the Jaguars to give the Titans a good run. We'll see. If they're going to do it tomorrow, they better put a foot on the Texans. This is the type of game in years past where the Jaguars lose. You feel like you got some momentum and you go, what the hell do you mean it's 31-13 with 3 minutes left? The hell happened?
Nobody's going to
over there with 4 interceptions.
Yeah, I just think nobody's going to get double-digit wins in that division, and there's really the best quarterback's Lawrence, but who knows if he's on the best team. So we'll see what happens. It's a long way to go, but it's just a weird NFL season. I mean, the Colts had beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs look like God. So NFL is a weird sport, and it's going to continue that way.
It is, but I'm talking about the specific play of Matt Ryan. I am not putting down any of the other Colts.
Oh no, I agree.
In general, the Colts have a pretty good roster.
Yeah, it was a little tough to watch, whether it was more on the tackles or more on Matt Ryan. He was under pressure all night and making
bad throws. Man. Him and Mr. Unlimited.
Hey, at least we didn't spend $250 million and trade all our first-round picks. That's the only thing I am happy about. Can you imagine being a Broncos fan right now? You got Russell Williams locked up, Broncos country, let's ride for 4 or 5 seasons, and you get that crap on Thursday Night Football, 9 points. Come on, you're better than that.
You know what everybody's saying right now?
What's that?
It wasn't Pete Carroll's fault. Remember that for the last 10 years, they've been blaming Pete Carroll for the interception against the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Everyone's finally pulling their head out of their ass and realizing he didn't have to throw the ball. That last interception that he threw that essentially cost them the game.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell, where was he throwing it? The guy was covered. Even Daniel Jones throws that out of the back of the end zone and goes, screw it, dude. I've got the field goal in my back pocket. We're up by 6. The Colts can't score a touchdown. Game over.
Yep. No, it's very weird. It looks like he's looking at his first read, and if his first read's not there.
Hackett?
Yeah, Hackett.
Fire him.
Yeah, 1 and done.
He's down by a field goal. Tie the game, dude. Because Russell Wilson has shown over and over and over again that he's going to do what he did on 4th and 1.
And we've seen a 1 and done coach not too long ago, Steve Wilkes in Arizona. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Denver did decide to pull the trigger on Hackett.
Fire him. They should have fired him Friday morning.
He is terrible. He cost him week 1.
There's still 2.5 minutes left. There's plenty of time for Matt Ryan to throw a pick 6. Plenty of time.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's just trash. And Geno Smith is playing great under Pete Carroll.
Is your defense. If you tie the game, you kick it deep. Joey put the Colts on the other side. Wouldn't you have kicked the field goal and go, I'm going to take my chances. Russell Wilson going to do something stupid.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, even on that 4th and 1 play when they went for it, I was glad they went for it because I know right there you had the chance to end the game.
That's what I'm referring to. Kick the field goal.
Exactly.
Kick the field goal.
Exactly.
Over.
I don't know.
You're going to get a tie which would have been really funny if the Colts ties.
That would describe their season.
This is going to look like a soccer standings by the end of the year. But anyways, Hackett should be fired.
He looks constipated on the sidelines too. He looks stupid.
Just and I didn't realize until the end of the game. I sent a text to Sean. I said, "Oh, we got another pencil head." He was literally sitting over there. It was a marker, but he was sitting there going, I don't know. Let's go for
it. Whisper into their fake assistant head coach.
See the picture of Melvin Gordon staring at Russell Wilson on the sidelines as he walked by that was circulating Twitter.
Yep.
I grabbed it and put it on Facebook. That was hilarious. It was after one of his interceptions. And Russell Wilson just sitting there sucking on a bottle of Gatorade, looking around. And this is literally what Melvin Gordon was like, man.
He's like, I'm stuck with this.
He's like, dude, why don't we just run the Wildcat, man? Mr. Unlimited. Mr. Trash. All right, stupid underdog picks.
Hey.
Hey. Joey, you hit last week.
Finally. I think I was like in last. So I needed it badly. But yeah,
even
Boston
though I got
College, I think.
Yeah, they hit good. That was a big one. I hit a mini one, but doesn't help too much in the standings. I went the Sean O'Toole route a little bit last week.
Yeah, you got Troy. I always have to do yours last because you always pick these just no one watches games.
Hey, baby, it's D1 college football. What do you want from me?
No, it's not.
I know my man Doug's watching those games. He ain't watching Alabama, whoever they play. My man Doug is locked in on Troy games, baby.
Yeah, I'm right there. Who?
Exactly.
Oh man.
All right, so I'm getting caught up to speed here. Had a kind of a busy week. I'm trying to get caught up. So Trosh did not cover his. So he is all right. So there we go. And then the other one was Bobby with Kentucky. So all right. So who's the low man? I'm gonna do mine later. Who is the low man between 9.5, 11.5? I guess Joey, you're still behind Tones.
Yep.
What is your stupid underdog pick today?
Well, since I'm still in last, I gotta, try to make up a little bit of ground here. Between two games, I'm gonna go with Arizona. They're getting 13.5 at home. They're playing Oregon. This is a night game at 9:00. Hitting the Pac-12. But listen, I mean, Arizona offense has not been bad this year. The quarterback play is 14 touchdowns in about 4 or 5 games so far. So they're at 3-2. Oregon, has been a little bit shaky. Bo Nix sometimes off and on a little bit. Why not? I like going with the home teams. I'll take the 13.5 and the Arizona Wildcats.
Arizona Wildcats. All right, Tones. What Ivy League matchup are you picking today?
Hey, I'm going big time in, your world here. I'm actually going
the Sun Belt.
Big 12 football. Kansas getting 7.5 against TCU. The Jayhawks are off to an incredible start this year, undefeated, 5-0. They got College Game Day there. This game is at noon on FS1. Jayhawks are at home getting 7.5. Their quarterback.
I'm shocked that they took that game as their game of the week, because it's noon on FS1, and that's gonna promote people to switch the channel.
Yeah, I feel like for some reason they're kind of trying to be historic and go places they haven't really been before this year instead of.
But because it wasn't being carried by ESPN, I was a little shocked by that.
I agree. And I just like Jalen Daniels a lot. He's done an incredible job as the quarterback of the Jayhawks this year. He's actually first in QBR in the nation at 95.4. He has 11 touchdowns to only 1 interception, almost 1,000 yards already. So, the Jayhawks are on a hot streak. I have no idea how they're getting a touchdown and a half in this one. Vegas probably wants you to bet them, but I'm with Vegas, baby. Let's go Jayhawks, rock, chalk, talk, or whatever the hell you call it. Let's do it.
Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. I don't know why it's rock, chalk, but it's chalk like you draw chalk on the. I've had some friends that were fans of that team. I don't know. I feel like they've told me, and I feel like I've already forgotten. Doug, where are you going, sir?
I'm going the Army Wake Forest game. They got Wake Forest up by 17. I'm gonna pick minus 17 on that one because Wake Forest defense doesn't stop anyone, and Army's just gonna run the ball. And it's not gonna be the high scoring game that they think it is. So
I remember that game last year. So you're taking Army?
Yeah, I'm taking that negative 17.
And is that an early game? They tend to play that game early.
Yeah, that's an early game. That's a
No, 7:30. Wow.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I was looking. Yep,
16
it
and a
is
half.
7:30.
I know I always
Well,
have
they
to
got it.
you because you're always trying to finagle the numbers there.
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and take mine. I'm going to the SEC and a game that, let me see what the number is. Yeah, it's still there. I was hoping it would go up a little bit, but I'll go ahead and take it. Give me the Missouri Tigers. They're getting 11 points against the Gators. It's an early kickoff. Missouri. Swear it doesn't matter what damn pen I freaking get goes out on me during the show.
It's always at the worst times too, because you know that pen will start working once the show's over.
I won't know because I just threw it across the hall and I see it.
Adios.
If I have a pen give me a hard time during the show, I just yank it. Nope. You're not tricking me next show. I'll be in the middle of doing a broadcast going, because believe it or not, I actually do the scorebook during the game as I'm broadcasting.
Nice.
Wow.
So I do that so I know what the guy did last time up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because sometimes they're very vague on the, like, as I'm reading the scroll across, it'll say ground out, pop out, but I'll make the note, you know, it was a line drive catch in left field, and that'll kind of jog your memory. Hey, last time up, he really got a hold of one, but a great defensive play by so and so, you know. So
exactly.
I still do that. I know that's old school, but
hey, that's the best way to do it. Sometimes old school is the best.
And my favorite thing to write down is the old classic WW when you're doing the scorebook. Do you know what that means? Wasn't watching.
Easy enough.
Now, obviously I was watching, but it's more of like, don't remember. I don't remember what the hell he did. And I don't have time script. So yeah, there's that. Doug, what is your one big thing as you walk off today?
Oh, one big thing. FSU having to play in one of the nastiest, ugliest college stadiums ever. They're in Doak Walker Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a stadium where people in the past have actually thrown urine on the field, for crying out loud.
My dog died about a year ago. You want to bring that up too? I mean, what the hell, man?
Nah.
The hell, man?
I just threw that out there.
8 o'clock Eastern. I think that's ACC Network. Florida State, NC State. That should be a hell of a game. I think the line on that's around 3 or 4 points.
Urine on the ground. That sounds like a Saturday night at 3 or 4 in the morning after a few cold ones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
I don't really know how to respond to that other than, all right, Doug, we'll see you next week, buddy.
Okay.
We're going to take a really quick break and reset. When we come back, we're going to talk some more football. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks Kickoff Show.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down. I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle Trump pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere. Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. And doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit. And everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Home of Braves Country Baseball and the Armchair Quarterback Show. Saturday mornings, YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1.
One more time around the sun, I take it, I'd run around this blue rock and give it all I got.
We are back. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Show. If you're just joining us here at 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. On CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live. YouTube Live, if you want to join the show, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. So it's youtube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. All right, guys. So this is usually the time of the show that we start talking a little NFL, and then we're going to get back into some college. What spreads are jumping out at y'all this week with the National Football League?
One that intrigues.
I'll start with you.
One that intrigues me quick. I'm digging into Packers Giant. Yeah, I think he, but
I say, Joey, it's your turn. He gets up and walks out.
I don't know what the hell is going on, but Packers Giants. Packers given in London to a Giants team that has been actually playing a decent clip of football. I thought Packers played really poor last week against New England on their third string quarterback.
Is Daniel Jones going to play?
Daniel Jones is going to play. So
he is. Okay. I saw some rumblings yesterday, and then I got caught in the world of baseball and just kind of put all that crap on hold. I usually check Saturday afternoon when they start releasing all the final injury reports. So he is going to play. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I think that touchdown plus an extra point plus an additional point, 8 points in a London game is a lot.
Here's the interesting one. The over under 42. I don't think he gets there.
Yeah, I don't think it gets there in a London game. That one is more. Yeah, I don't see it getting to 42.
Not just London game. The Giants defense has been pretty good. The Packers defense is pretty good. Daniel Jones is still hot garbage. And I think they're going to try to keep one thing. Dable can coach football. But one thing he does know, he also knows the limitations. I heard him say in a press conference, I think it was last week, he said there's going to be games where we get blown out, guys, because we're trying to still fix our roster. This is a team that's 3-1. He's telling the media that. But I think he's going to try to slow that game. He's going to try to take all the air out of that game.
Yeah, and Saquon looks like he's the Saquon of old this year too.
Not want any part of Daniel Jones versus Aaron Rodgers. Let's go. Come on. Light show back and forth. No.
Yeah, sorry, boys. I was gone for a quick second there. I had let the guy in for the garbage disposal. That ain't working at the house. Don't ask me what's going on there because I ain't a repair guy. But if I had to look at one game on this docket,
speaking of garbage disposal, let's talk about the Colts and Bills game again. Broncos game again.
Yeah, no, we don't want to go back to the field goal party. Thank God we had a kicker. Otherwise, it would have been way worse, I guess. But let's look at tomorrow.
I can tell you right now, Florida State's going for every one of those. They're like, no, thank you. He has already lost all faith in his field goal kicker. Anyways, go ahead. What game do you like?
I really like the Bengals and Ravens tomorrow night, and because who's going to take the step in this division? Bengals coming off the Super Bowl. Baltimore.
That's a fun one. I'll be honest. Like a lot of these night games have been kind of disappointing. I love this matchup.
Yeah, it's a great match. Exactly. And I mean,
do you like Cincinnati plus 3.5 in Baltimore, or do you think Baltimore will?
I'm going to go with the
Ravens. Those ones where they're begging you to take Cincy because in your mind you're like, oh, it'll be a field goal game, and then Baltimore wins by 5, and you're like, son of a.
And exactly why I'm going to take the Ravens here because they've led for everything besides 15 minutes. I think one quarter of football to this point in the first 4 games and just blowing leads at the end. We saw it against Miami. We saw it against Buffalo. I think they know the Bengals, way too well. They get on them early, and then Joe Burrow just doesn't have enough to come back. I think it's going to be a good game. But like you said, it seems like everyone's going to be taking Cincinnati, right? Had an extra few days off, got it together. I'm going Baltimore.
Hey, Chris brings up a great point. College football, we're going to get back into it in a second. But if the Vols win today and LSU, next week they host Alabama. Ooh. How big of a game will that be? Tennessee will be ranked somewhere around the top 5. And, of course, Alabama. I expect Alabama to just smash the hell out of A&M tonight.
With or without Bryce Young, right? They should just matter. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's going to make a point to pound Jimbo Fisher because of the smart. Yeah. And Jimbo has a terrible team this year. But that game will be absolutely on fire next week. That's what I'm pulling for. I normally pull against Alabama. I want them undefeated going into next week. I want them undefeated going into Neyland. Let's go. Knoxville, Tennessee. That place is going to be jumping. That will be the 3:30 game of the week. Even if one of them gains a loss here, it'll still be a big game. But I really hope they're both undefeated because the groundswell. Y'all aren't familiar with this because you never lived in the area, but that is traditionally known as that game's nickname is the 3rd Saturday in October because for years and years and years they've always played in the 3rd Saturday of October. This year it actually is going to be the 3rd Saturday in October. There are some years where it ends up being the 4th because of the way the calendar falls, but that rivalry goes back like 100 years, and Tennessee fans will know what I'm talking about, but 3:30 next Saturday, it's football time in Tennessee. That place is going to be jamming.
And you think they take care of business today pretty easily against LSU?
No, I think it's going to be a dogfight. It's in LSU. The biggest thing, I think if it's a night game, they lose. But they get
a night game.
I forget it's a day game. Something to do with the television, but LSU fans were pissed about it.
What is it? A 3-point spread, I think.
Yeah, I do think Tennessee wins, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, Tennessee -2.5.
Man, noon kickoff for college kids on the road.
Yeesh.
And put your boxing gloves on. If both these teams are undefeated next week, that's going to be incredible. Meanwhile,
it's what college football is about.
Yes, it is. That would be awesome, man. I think everyone.
You don't have a dog in the hunt. You're pulling for LSU. I mean, you're pulling for Tennessee and Alabama to win today because you want that showdown. It's just like if Florida State can find a way to win on the road next Saturday night, they're at home against Clemson.
Mm.
And so Florida State will be ranked. They'll still have a puncher's chance at the division title.
Well,
that ACC Atlantic overnight has become one of the most difficult divisions in all of college football. I don't even know how the hell it happened. And got NC State, Florida State, Wake Forest, and Clemson, and Syracuse, who's undefeated for the first time in 37 years at this point of the season, all jammed in the same division.
Dino Babers, doing good things for Syracuse, but what's
boring ass football, but they're winning.
Also next Saturday, Penn State, Michigan, another big one. Battle of the undefeated.
Penn State, Michigan's next week too?
Yep, that one is next week as well.
Crap.
I know, loaded.
Holy crap.
I don't know how they're going to fit all these games in next. I mean,
guys, I can tell you right now, there's a good chance we don't get into NFL next week.
Yeah, this is going to be wow.
Just go ahead and book it. There's some weeks where we lean heavily into the NFL because the college slate sucks. Next week's going to be the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. I did not know Penn State, Michigan. So Penn State, Michigan, Florida State, Clemson, Tennessee, Alabama. Wow.
God, I love sports in October.
And I haven't even looked at the full slate, but I mean, even NC State and Syracuse is next week. And this is a rivalry, even though these two teams aren't very good. Miami's at Virginia Tech. What about the SEC? Let me see what they got going on. Auburn, Ole Miss is next week. LSU, Florida is next week. Kentucky, Mississippi State, which strangely enough is a big game.
If you have plans next Saturday, cancel them now. Take your wife out Friday night.
Get that Rolodex of lies out. An undefeated Kansas possibly is going into Oklahoma. Ooh, you talk about roadkill. Vanderbilt travels to Georgia.
Ooh,
I'll be watching that one.
Dude, if TCU wins and Oklahoma State wins, they're undefeated facing each other next week. Damn. Arkansas is at BYU.
Just loaded.
Yeah, next week. USC is at Utah if Utah wins today.
My couch is going to have a big indent.
Crap. I'm going to have to drag the toilet into my living room so I don't miss anything.
2 in 1.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get a porta potty or something.
A nice little bidet.
You know the little kid toilets. Just screw it, man.
I'm just wearing a diaper. I
don't know how I'm gonna hover. They're usually like this far off the floor. I'll never get back up.
My feet are asleep.
All right. What about this week? Let's get it. Man, next week is fun. That is really fun. I cannot wait for that. All right. This week, Tennessee, LSU. Tennessee's given up 3. The over under 63. I kind of like the under, and I know that's strange because Tennessee has an explosive offense. Really, if y'all haven't watched Tennessee football, y'all, you got to watch it. It is fun football to watch. Hooker is a solid college quarterback. I don't know what he'll be in the pros, but it doesn't matter. In college football, he is solid. And LSU still has the athletes. And I think he's going to try to take the air out of it a little bit, but you can only do it so much in college football. So that's a fun one. Tennessee -3.
Yeah, I like Tennessee in that one. I don't think it's a gimme by any means, but I do like.
I do too. I'm more like, and this is just being chicken bleep. I'm more likely to take Tennessee on the money line, just so I don't get burned by something stupid at the end.
I like the Tennessee money line.
It's worth it if it's within 3.
It's usually. Let me check on one of my famed sites that I go to.
Forget Brian Kelly.
And Chris says next Saturday is his wedding anniversary, so he's got a loaded Saturday. Chris, you're gonna have to
celebrate Friday.
Well, luckily his wife is a big football fan as well, so he's saved by that. I still go by the old adage: never, ever, ever get married in the fall. Because the wedding may not fall on a big football game, but damn it, your anniversary will one time.
That is true.
I wanted to get married in March, but I got talked into early April. I was like, April? I finally had to cave. I was like, April? Opening day? The Masters? March Madness? What are we doing here? It's all going to collide at once.
You have 4 screens on. You're out to dinner with the wife, looking all around and everything.
Yeah. You know how I always figure out what year I got married is I have to go back and look at the Tampa Bay Rays baseball schedule, because we were there for one of their opening weekend or their opening day against the Cleveland Indians. So I always get confused what year it is. I go back and find, okay, there we go.
That's pretty fun, though.
It was actually a really good pitching matchup at the time. It was Kluber versus Archer. At the time,
wow.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
Great matchup.
What is this, independent league baseball?
Hey, they're both surviving still.
I know somehow, but they were in their prime at that.
They were aces, yes.
They were aces. Let me look at the I do want to look at some of these oddball Tennessee, and why is only a couple of these games popping up? That is strange. Well, I was looking for some games to go on here, but they have taken some games off the board for whatever reason. So let me go to a different site. What I want to know is, what is the over under for, or have they blocked me because I won too many games yesterday?
You're winning too much. Get out of here.
This guy, man. I want to see the Tennessee LSU game. What I want to see is, here it is. Tennessee's over, their individual overs 32.5. That's still really high. But the money line, I'm liking this. The money line has gone down to 140. It was 145 and 150. See, I'm much more likely to take the money line. And I know your damn bettors usually tell you don't do that. But I'm like, dude, I don't want to. What if Tennessee wins, but they win by 2 points? I'm going to be pissed off.
Right. That's already happened to me. I always knock it down at least a little bit if it's that close in money line, because, it's like, why not? What's the difference between if you win 7?
I don't know what it is now, and I don't mean to cut you off, but speaking of gambling, I got it the other day. The Braves will win the World Series is 5-1, right? The Braves to meet the Astros in the World Series, so they both have to meet, is 7-1. If you're going to take one or the other, I say you take that one, because I don't think anyone's beating the Astros.
Yeah, because the winner of Seattle, Toronto has to go there. That's going to be
I just don't think anyone. I don't think anyone in the American League can beat them. I don't know if anyone in baseball can. This is a better Astros team than what the Braves played last year, because they have one Justin Verlander, and that makes the difference.
Yeah, they weren't healthy last year, the Astros. So watch out.
I don't want to hear that crap. We weren't healthy either.
No, I'm just saying.
With 2 starting pitchers. But this is a better Astros team. This is a better Braves team.
Hey, you're better when you're healthier. That's all I was saying.
This team would be incredible if we would have kept Freddie Freeman, but this team is still better than last year's team.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I saw Matt Olson.
You're going to bet on one or the other. The Braves don't have to win the World Series in that scenario. They just have to get there.
What did Matt Olson finish like third in RBIs or something? I saw the other day. So that was a great replacement.
He had 34 home runs.
And I think 104 RBIs.
The biggest problem with Matt Olson, he had like 6 weeks where he just couldn't hit water falling out of a boat. But it looks like he got his swing back. So, more college football talk. Let's see here. Here's an interesting one. Woof. This one has come down considerably. Yesterday, I saw Louisville was a 3-point favorite. It's a pick 'em now against Virginia.
Yeah, and last
That
week
means
Louisville
a lot
lost.
of money came in on Virginia.
Yeah, last week Louisville lost to Boston College, so you know they'll bring their A game.
I still think Louisville's a better football team than Virginia. I mean, we'll find out today.
I agree.
Yeah, I like Louisville more than Virginia in that one as well, especially in a pick 'em.
Let me hit a couple of other lines.
How about Texas giving 8.5 against Oklahoma? At Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma's bad.
Yeah, they are.
They got boat raced by TCU. When has that ever happened in our lifetime?
Right?
True. Yeah, maybe the leaving of the coach and
Dude,
quarterback.
Venable sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, maybe he's got to get his own guys in there, blah, blah, blah. But he was a defensive guy. He gave up 55 points to TCU.
Oh.
Disgusting.
He is not doing well.
Man.
You think fan bases are crazy? Oklahoma fan base losing 55-24 to TCU Sunday morning. I bet their Twitter was
banana land.
They're having the same take about Venable as I'm having about Hackett. Fire him yesterday.
What do you guys think?
Fire the general manager. Fire everyone in Denver because they locked up Russell. I said it at the time he signed it. Can we see him throw one pass from Denver before you lock him up to a $245 million deal?
Yeah,
Auburn is getting 4 touchdowns against Georgia.
Georgia needs a big win. I think they might roll.
That was up considerably. People have jumped on Auburn.
I like Auburn to barely cover, but I do like Auburn to cover.
That was 33 points earlier in the week. 33 or 34. I ended up teasing it. I'm getting it at 37.5 today.
Wow.
I teased it with something else. I don't have it written in front of me, but I remember it was 37.5. But like I said, that was a tease. So that might have been 31.5 when I grabbed it. But at one point, I know it was 33.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn, man, the disrespect. Georgia barely gets past Missouri, and Auburn, though they're 3-2, they haven't looked that bad. I mean, I know they're ready to fire their head coach, but I don't think they've looked that bad.
I mean, they looked pretty good last week against a LSU team, that was a competitive game.
They lost to LSU by 4.
Mm-hmm.
The game that I think is what's going to get them is why they're saying they want them fired is because they got blown out against Penn State at home.
Yeah.
And they expect to compete, and they didn't feel like they competed.
And then they won in overtime. I forget against who in between those games.
Listen to their I'll leave this up if y'all want it, but someone just put some porn stuff in our chat.
Yeah, I was about to say, what the heck's going on?
If you want that information, I'll send it to you guys. The next 3 weeks for Auburn, though, 5 weeks at Georgia, at Ole Miss, home against Arkansas, at Mississippi State, at home against A&M. And then, of course, they get to finish it all off at Bama. That's why they're wanting to fire him and start looking, because they're like, dude, this guy's not making a bowl game.
No, it could definitely take a steamroll. And one thing I've been looking at as I go through this schedule, guys, there's a lot of focus next week on the top dogs. But how about the Pac-12 this game with a couple of big games? You got USC at home, as Mac alluded to earlier. You got Utah at UCLA. I mean, there's a lot on the line in the Pac-12. Who's going to step up and be that number one team? Are you guys feeling UCLA?
The two biggest games in college football are west of the Mississippi this week.
Yep.
How weird is that?
Unbelievable.
Give me the fight in Chip Kelly's, baby, in UCLA. You know, Utah.
I'm pulling for UCLA. I like to see.
So am I.
Oh,
You know, UCLA. Let's do it. I mean, Chip Kelly. It's now or never. These are all his guys. DTR is in his last season at quarterback over there. He's been playing some incredible football, and I think they played fantastic last Friday night in a victory against Washington. And I don't see UCLA slowing down today. I got them upending the Utes and get into 6-0 here.
I saw a thing where they were going around. They're already talking about replacements, college football coaching carousel already.
So many openings.
And this clown on CBS was suggesting that Mike Norvell leave Florida State to go to Arizona State.
What?
What?
I've seen someone suggest Saban should go to Wisconsin. It's like, what are some of these people on? I think they listened to the show last week and got some of that California sunshine.
I mean, what?
From Alabama to Wisconsin?
That's not even a lateral move from Florida State to Arizona State. But let's say if you even thought that it was. It took him 3 seasons to start turning things around at Florida State. Why the hell would we going to go rebuild that crap out in Arizona State? If he leaves us, it's going to be to go to what is perceived a better job.
Correct.
No.
Right. Not a place where they ousted the coach Herm Edwards and just a crappy program.
If this clown would do his research, he'd find out that Norvell has been quoted several times as saying that this was his dream job. He grew up a Florida State fan for whatever reason when he was growing up as a kid in Texas.
Florida State's still a high-end job, in my opinion. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying that this wasn't a stepping stone for him per se. It might be for other coaches, but not for him. This is where he wanted to be.
And that's what I'm saying. Florida State.
I'm not saying he wouldn't leave to go to the NFL or Alabama, but he's not leaving to go to Arizona State.
Right. There's a very small ladder to climb in terms of upgrading coaching. Obviously, NFL, one thing, Alabama, maybe, sure. But other than that, I mean, you could argue other schools, but Florida State just has as decorated as a history as any of them. I mean, look, they had those 3 first-round quarterbacks taken not long ago, and long before that, they were dominating college football. So,
I mean, give us a little credit. The Sun Devils?
Don't put us on Arizona. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Not to mention, you're going to go sign up with Arizona State and you don't even know what conference if they're going to be in a major conference 5 years from now? Because we don't know what the hell's going to happen with the Pac-10, Pac-12, Pac-62, whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Yeah, it's going to be the Big 20, the Pac-20, the SC20 pretty soon. It's like, go Wolfpack, Brian Cook says.
He needs a Miami win bigger than ever. Is he going to get it today?
He's celebrating for Florida State to lose.
Such a loser fan base, man.
I hate fans who just celebrate on other teams.
More focused on trying to get what they perceive as their rival a loss than worrying about their own.
That's like Bears fans here who just root for the Packers to lose because they know they can't get wins. It's just trash when you root for other teams to lose.
They have an inferiority complex that goes way back. They hate Florida State and they hate and they hate Florida, but what they don't understand is that we don't really care about them enough to hate them because Florida State and Florida, that's our rivalry.
Yeah, they're like the third sibling that gets forgotten about. Oh, it's your wedding today? Oh, that's cool.
I hate to tell you that Clemson's a bigger game for us. I mean, we don't really, Miami. Well, yeah, we want to win the game, but that's not our game. This isn't 1991. Okay. We don't, the Hurricanes are no longer relevant in college.
I tell you what, they're favored by 3.5. I'm taking North Carolina.
Yeah. To Brian's credit, he did say take North Carolina earlier. So not only is he rooting for North Carolina State, he's also taking North Carolina against his guys.
Here's how bad it's gotten. You want to beat Miami, not because it's some kind of prestige. You want to beat Miami because it's embarrassing to lose to Miami. That's the difference.
Sean O'Toole says arguing with Brian is like trying to convince an infant not to make a poopy in the diaper.
Bang, bang.
He's had a rough life, man. He's a Bengals fan. He's a Hurricanes fan.
And a Florida Panthers fan, right?
Yeah, make that make sense.
Oh, geez. Good times here on the Armchair Quarterback Show.
Go Miami, except on Sundays. Go Central Ohio.
Yeah, why did you climb up to the Midwest? He's in our territory.
Because Walmart had a sale. And if buy one, get one free Miami Hurricane t-shirt, and you get your choice. And he took a Bengals diaper.
That said Ocho Cinco on it.
Yeah. He dropped an Ocho Cinco in there.
Oh, man. We love you, Brian.
We're coming up on the end of it. Joey, what is your lock for the week?
My lock.
Congratulations. You're 3-1 now.
Thank you. Every blind squirrel finds a nut, right? So let's continue that streak today. I'm going to actually stick in Big Ten country. University of Illinois is 4-1. They could easily be 5-0, but they had a blocker against Indiana at the end of the game a few weeks back. Taking Illinois at home, giving up the 4 points. Iowa.
Say that again. Your audio's.
Sorry about that. I'm taking Illinois at home against Iowa. Iowa's offense has been anemic. Illinois is giving 4 points. It is a 7:30 Eastern time game. I just think they could be undefeated, Illinois, led by DeVito at quarterback. He's got 9 touchdowns on the year. They're playing pretty good football. Nobody's really talking about them. But if they could beat Iowa today and get to 5-1, the Big Ten has to at least consider to put them on the map on watching this team play the rest of the season. Not saying they'll make any playoff moves, not saying they'll win the Big Ten, but at 5-1, it'd be hard to argue that you can at least consider Illinois a threat in the Midwest. So I'm going to take Illinois -4.
3.5 points, but here's what really grabs my eye. This is how much how boring they think this game is going to be.
What's the over-under?
Under is 36.5.
36.5.
Dude, I don't remember seeing a college football game that low like ever.
And honestly, you could get a 21-14 game or a 20-10 game. So I would not even don't be bought into that over for the people out there who don't watch Midwest Big Ten football, because it could easily come in at a much lower scoring game, 17-10, something like that.
What is your one big thing as you walk it off?
Yeah, my one big thing is the Colts will win the AFC South. No, I'm not going to say that right now. My one big thing is actually
I don't know how big that is nowadays.
The AFC South is a small world. But no, in reality, next week we have the loaded schedule, but this weekend, I don't know. I love when playoff baseball comes on. I enjoyed, even though the schedule was crap, I'm glad you brought it up on Twitter and on this show. I enjoyed watching the games yesterday, even though they weren't that close. I hope we get better ones today. I want to see some 3-2 in the ninth. Give some Phillies Cardinals-esque games. It was awesome seeing the Cardinals lose as a Cubs fan, but also seeing the Phillies rally with 6 runs. I'm going to focus on some MLB postseason before the big college slate next week. And that is my one big thing. College MLB playoffs, I'm ready and locked in.
How about we are, as a team, 14-7-2 this year on the locks?
If people were smart, they'd be getting them.
That's called chicken dinner right there, man.
Yeah, that is.
I mean,
we're not saying, but we're just saying. Come on, people.
Well, how am I looking? How am I faring?
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up. I was trying to be nice. You're 1-2-1.
Yeah, last week was
the only one with the losing record. I mean, it's barely. It's not like you're 0-4,
right?
Everyone else is either got a 500 or better record.
Hey, at least I'm doing okay in the stupid underdog picks. So I guess you take what you can get.
That's pretty. I mean, look, 14-7-2. That's a hell of a clip.
I'm gonna get us a win this week too, boys. I feel it.
That's like right there at 66%. If you take the the pushes out, it is 66%. So
Hey, Mac, real quick, you think the Mets win today? Because I got them in my World Series, so if they lose today, my bracket's busted.
if they do, I think Musgrove's going to get them tomorrow. If they win, it'll be Musgrove versus Bassett. It still dumbfounds me they didn't start DeGrom in game 1. He got too cute. He thought Scherzer would win game 1, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to try to figure out a way to play him in game 2. A lot of people might have missed this, but he was planning on DeGrom pitching in game 3 because he thought that they would probably sweep San Diego, and he could save DeGrom for game 1 against the Dodgers. He got too cute.
That was way too. You can't do that in the playoffs.
I forgot to go over that, man. I'm glad you brought that up real quick. Who do you have winning all the series?
Yeah, I'll give it to you guys real quickly here. I have the Cardinals over the Phillies, which doesn't look good right off the bat. I got the Mets over the Padres, which doesn't look good right off the bat. Toronto over Seattle and Tampa Bay. I took all the 4 teams to win the first round that lost yesterday. So that's really not looking good. But going to my World Series, I got the Subway Series, Yankees over the Mets. You're screwed anyways. All right. I'm screwed. I had the Braves in the NLCS.
Yeah, the Mets aren't gonna. The Yankees aren't gonna.
Hey, like I said, my bracket's busted.
Astros, baby. Astros are tough.
I'm cooked, as Russell Wilson says.
Mine ain't looking great either. I had an old World Series rematch. I got the Rays over the Phillies in there.
I thought you were gonna tell me Cubs, White Sox.
I got Rays over Phillies.
Phillies.
Mm-hmm. Rays, Phillies.
Because in your world, that was the only way Tampa Bay could win the World Series if they faced the Phillies.
Hey, I mean, one of the matchups that they'd actually have the advantage, in my opinion. But I think Phillies, honestly, you just look at their roster and you look at their rotation, it's either going to be them or the Braves, in my opinion. I don't see anyone else making it out of the NL. I like the Phillies or the Braves a lot out of there. And then the AL, I really don't want to see the Astros in it. That's why I picked the Rays mainly. I think the Astros are the team to beat in the AL, but I love my Rays. So hoping they could scrap a win today.
I feel like Philly's lack of bullpen and their absenteeism of defense, I could never take them to go very deep.
Mm-hmm. And I'd give the edge.
This is not one of the better Cardinals teams, so they got a buncher's chance to get out of this. I did take St. Louis to win, but I didn't think St. Louis's bullpen was going to absolutely implode yesterday. But there's still a good chance that that series goes 3. Today, St. Louis, Nola versus Mikolas, that's going to be another low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the Phillies is when you get past Wheeler and Nola, there's a whole lot of crap on that starting rotation.
Yeah, you start getting into the Gibsons of the world.
So if you get to game 3, who the hell is going to pitch? And let's say they win today. Who's pitching game 1 in Atlanta versus Max Fried? I guess it's going to be Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, and you like Fried's odds there.
Yeah, that's why I like the Braves regardless, whoever wins.
I don't think the Braves will sweep him because they can't beat Nola, man. That dude's he plays Jedi mind tricks on him. Like they cannot beat Nola. They usually get to Wheeler. They usually can they kind of do to Wheeler what they do to Scherzer. They eventually crack through with a couple of home runs, but they're usually solo shots. But
I'm just feeling if the Phillies do move on, whoever wins Braves Phillies to me will represent the NL. That'll be a good series.
Man, you got a lot of faith in the Phillies getting past the Dodgers or the Mets.
I'm not buying into the Mets.
The Mets, it's over because they can't beat the Mets, and I'm talking about in a game.
I don't think Mets. After what I've seen yesterday, I'm not so sure Mets make it past this round.
Yeah, the Mets may not make it past it, but the Phillies cannot beat the Mets. Like they are their daddies. They can, just like San Diego can't beat the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I know the only chance for Atlanta to not play the Dodgers would be for the Mets to beat the Padres and go upset the Dodgers somehow. They'd be so worn out. That pitching staff would be absolute in shambles by the time they came to Truist Park. Let's go. Teeing off on him.
Oh man, playoff baseball.
Their game 7 starter for the Mets would be Cookie Carrasco. They might even let me pinch it. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to get a walk-off by Joey, but I think he had to run. We'll be back in a flash here, and Bobby is joining us here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
I'm not audible. How audible I'll use? Polly, red Polly. Blue poncho, blue poncho. There we go. Rambo. Rambo. Give me first shot here, first shot.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by the best things in life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Protect his family from disaster. Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1, home of Braves Country Baseball and the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, Saturday mornings, YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Welcome back here, Armchair Quarterback Show. You want to watch it, go to youtube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Watch it live here as Bobby Schneider. Bobby, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Enjoying the few days off before the playoffs start for the Braves. So I'll start doing the prep for that probably tomorrow. At that point, I'll have a better idea of who the hell we're playing. Right now, I'm just pulling for a 3-game series. You are closing the gap on Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You're now at 21 points in the underdog picks, as you didn't hit, but you covered. You've covered the last couple of weeks, so that has helped you get closer and closer. And let's see,
he had Arkansas last week too, right?
Yeah, he did.
He came close. He almost got another miracle.
Well, no, actually, he had whoever was playing Auburn. Or Alabama, I mean, Alabama. He said, whoever's playing Alabama, give me them.
We got lucky with Bryce Young going out of the game.
I will say we're moving up in the standings, though. A lot of positives now. I think you covered last week. Me and Joe hit last week,
Doing well.
Not a train wreck like we were just a couple weeks back.
Well, I'm trying to think of who I had a win from. I think it was I'm blanking here.
You had a big win. I forget who your big win was, but you had a huge win.
I think it was Washington State.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I forget who they beat, but Washington State was a 17.5 underdog.
You threw me for a second. That's why I didn't say anything, because I had to go back and check the score. I was like, wait a minute, did they cover it? Yeah, Arkansas didn't come close to covering that spread.
Yeah, that's who Doug picked, and I thought they were gonna pull it off.
Yeah, they came real close. They lost by 23.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had it close. It was competitive for a bit, and then Bama pulled away as they usually do.
They were competitive until they remembered they were Arkansas, and then it all fell apart. That's what Arkansas does.
Probably would have never been competitive.
I will never trust Arkansas ever again. I will never forget what they did in Georgia last year. Undefeated, going in between the hedges, and they were getting 17 points, I think it was, and Justin and I convinced each other all week long it's too many points to give Arkansas, et cetera, and that game was over before it began. It was 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, holy crap. I might have lost a dollar or two on that, and I will never trust the Razorbacks ever again.
That's fair. Once a team hurts you, hard to trust him in the gambling world again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as real quick on the baseball, we'll bring this back up when the other two join. But Tones, who do you have going to the World Series? Philly and the Rays? Is that
I'm facing elimination today.
Yeah, for both of them. I have St. Louis. I was on the fence. It's funny. I actually bet on the Padres to win this series, but I took the Mets in our bracket. And then I've got Atlanta and LA facing off straight chalk. I've got the Yankees and Houston straight chalk facing. I took Tampa, but once again, I bet on Cleveland to win the series. That was a really good game, by the way. It was so funny. They want to go, oh, Bieber was so dominant. They don't bring up McClanahan. I was like, dude, the only difference between the two was there was a guy on first base when Cleveland hit their home run and the bases were empty when Tampa hit their home run. That's the only difference in that game.
Yeah, and shout out to Jose Siri, not known for his power bat. He had a home run in that one. And
he just swung the bat with blindly and lucked into one.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a home run hitter at all.
Only a defender and speed guy.
Astro. Cleveland. But I took Tampa and I took Toronto. I still think Toronto's going to come back and make that a series. I'm hoping Tampa does. I'm a little worried about it. It's a cool story with Cleveland, though, because they're the youngest team to ever make it this far in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, and when they get rid of a guy like Framil Reyes and don't really make moves at the deadline, you're thinking, is this team really going to stick around? And sure enough, they did.
if they make it to the if they make it to the ALCS somehow, they would be the youngest team since the 1986 Mets to make it that far.
Wow.
That always surprises me because I always think of the Mets 86 team as being a fairly old team because some of their stars were older, but they go by the average age of the actual, but their bullpen was really young. Their starting pitching was pretty young.
Cleveland does that. Their closer, Emmanuel Clase, he is probably the best closer in baseball right now. That guy's filthy.
Well, not named Edwin Diaz. Yeah.
Yeah, you could go back and forth between those two. I feel like.
Diaz, man. As much as I hate the Mets, Diaz is the best closer in baseball.
Clase did have
the best pitcher in baseball. He's been dominant this year. I'm not saying
Clase had a little better numbers this year overall, but Diaz was dominant.
There's a difference. You feel like you have a puncher's chance against Clase. You do not feel like you have a chance against Diaz.
I will say, yeah, he's more of a presence on the mound, I guess.
I'm going to tip a cap to a guy who did it in the National League East compared to a guy who did it in the AL Central.
There you go. That's the biggest.
He's the guy who did it in New York with all the light on him as opposed to Cleveland, Ohio.
You can't go wrong either way. I think those are the best two by far at this point in time, at least.
But I ended up going chalk. I took Atlanta and LA, Yankees and Astros, and then I took the Braves to upset the Dodgers and win the World Series. I took the Astros to beat the Yankees. I think the only team that gets in the Astros' way of getting to the World Series is the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
Them just not playing good. They have been by far the best team in the American League this year. And what you thought Yankees, right? You thought, but the Yankees showed what I've been saying since day one, opening day was, dude, is that starting pitching really elite? And hell no, it's not. And Chapman got the same disease that Josh Hader got. He can't get anybody out.
Mm-hmm. It really made no sense for a team like the Yankees to try and improve their rotation at the deadline by getting a guy like Frankie Montas. And then at the same time, they flipped a guy like Jordan Montgomery, who pitched pretty effective.
Yeah. And Brett Boone's already said that he's going to, it's going to be a bullpen by committee when it comes to closing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just going to pick and choose. That has never worked since closers have become a thing in Major League Baseball, which I'd say they've become a thing in Major League Baseball, probably mid to late 90s, where you had to have a closer to win. I'm not saying your closer has to be your closer in April that closes in October, but when you go in to the playoffs, that has to be your closer. You can't yo-yo it.
I agree. Yeah,
the Dodgers kind of did it, but they did it in that fake championship year in 2020 where there was no fans.
Yeah, I agree. You got to have your man that you're confident in. They could come in and just shut the door.
Julio Urias coming in and closing the door the last 3 innings of the series against the Rays in 2020 is not the same thing as Mario Rivera in front of thousands of people stomping their feet trying to throw him off his game.
I agree. And the Rays that year, they had a great run, but you look at it, if it wasn't for playoff Randy Arozarena that year, their lineup really wasn't that dense in terms of, depth. So,
that whole sports year is a wash, but especially, anything that was done in the bubble.
Well, think about it. It was such little games. We see it all the time in a 162-game baseball season, right? Even the crappy teams like the Reds of the world, they go on their heaters. So in a 60-game season, all it takes is a team to get hot, make it into the playoffs, get a couple series wins, and boom. It's nothing. That'd be like playing 5 NFL games. So right now you'd have a bunch of crazy teams in the playoffs as well.
Even the Bucks Super Bowl has a small asterisk, but it's not as big as the other sports because by the time they got to the Super Bowl, there were fans in the stands, et cetera, right?
And at least they played a full season and,
But the regular season itself, most of these stadiums didn't have fans. So there's a little bit of but it's not what it is to the other sports.
Right.
Hockey, basketball, baseball, I don't count those championships. People are, you're just saying that because the Braves didn't win. Not really, man. If we would have won it 2020, I'd be like, that's cool and all, but I want to win a real one.
Yeah, and the other thing to the Bucks' credit, I look
at those as you won a tournament.
The last two out, especially basketball, right? I mean, the bubble, it was cool and all that they were able to get it done, but
hockey was garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
fans.
Yeah,
same thing.
Football's the only one who got a little taste of fans. I still think there were only about 10 to 15.
Baseball did it for the damn, the final 2 runs because they played it in Texas, but
the Cubs were one of the only teams in the regular season to technically have fans that year. We weren't allowed to have them in the stands, but since Wrigley Field has rooftops, we were able to actually have fans on the rooftops that year. Not that that was much, but the Cubs still had some fans that year. No one in the stadium, but the
Braves actually had fans in the stadium. I think it was half or 75% capacity by the time the playoffs started.
I think so.
But then they made us go play in Texas because they didn't want us to have the advantage against the Dodgers. Which, don't get me started on that. Horse crap. But anyways, back to where the hell were we?
Took a stroll down baseball lane for
well, we took down. Yeah, exactly. We went all freaking full pandemic about it. And as far as the stupid underdogs, Bobby is sitting at 21. Tones, you are 11.5, and you took Kansas today.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting 7.5.
Trying to get some small ones, make my move.
Bobby, let's go ahead and get your stupid underdog pick while we're talking about it.
Sounds good. All right, I got OU, who they've had a bad couple of weeks, last 2 weeks. I think they're going to have a bounce back game against Texas. They're 8-point underdogs. I like them in that one. I like those points.
So just to go over them real quick, Doug has Army plus 16.5. Tones has Kansas 7.5. Bobby has Oklahoma at plus, you say it's 8. So he said 8. Joey took Arizona plus 13.5, and I've got the Missouri Tigers going into the swamp at 11 because Missouri has looked feisty.
You're a hater.
That too, but Missouri's looked feisty in Auburn and at Georgia. They have played 2 really good ball games.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They should have
they kept
one of those.
Yeah. Well, that Georgia game was close for a while.
And then Auburn.
They Auburn. They fumbled the damn ball in the 1/2 yard.
Yeah, that was a brutal loss. They
went full Ernest Biner about it. Because the schmuck was over here. Oh, man. These idiot kids that don't understand. Tuck that ball till you get across the damn goal line.
Mm-hmm.
Always go off of Jerry Rice. Act like you've been there before. Hand the ball to the referee.
Yeah, I don't get how that's ever a problem, right? It's like, how in the world do you not hang on to the ball long enough until you eclipse the goal
Missouri,
line?
you don't score touchdowns very often. So, look what I did.
Yeah, we even see goof troops in the NFL do it at times too, and it's like, what in the world are you doing?
I didn't.
Deshaun Jackson Monday Night Football years ago.
I didn't know until 6 seconds ago what the score was of the Florida Eastern Washington game.
I took the under in that one and it barely hit. It held on by a thread. So I think the over under was 71.5 and the point total was like 68 or something. I was living large that Sunday, baby.
It got pushed to Sunday because of the hurricane, which made no sense because they came over near Gainesville. And anyways, but even with that being said, it was at noon, an hour before the NFL started. And I said, good luck getting me watch that garbage. Was it even on TV? Anyone know?
No, it was not. Sure. Because I tried to tune into it because I had the under and even, let's just say, some extracurricular.
It wasn't even on ESPN Plus or nothing like that?
Nope.
Wow.
So I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like a man looking for Waldo in a book, looking for that game. But
too early for this crap. The NHL starting next week.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing highlights of the freaking some Predators preseason game against San Jose. I'm like,
it's like poke me with the NHL stick in February once the Super Bowl comes to an end. Then I'll start.
NBA starts the week after.
Hey, not with me. With how my football teams are doing, I'm happy watching the NHL right now.
Hey, that's fair. You're acting like the Cardinals are out of it.
Hey, it's not. Look, I'm not impressed with the 2 wins. We shouldn't have beat the Raiders, and the Panthers are awful. I mean,
know,
awful.
But you are what your record is, right?
You're going to try and tell me that you're going to watch October hockey, regular hockey?
No, if it's a Sunday, I'm watching NFL. That's no question, whether it's the Cardinals or not. But I do like the NHL. I do like the Predators.
It's a Wednesday, I'm watching the MAC on ESPN.
Oh, come on.
Hockey.
And
it doesn't matter. Every team makes the playoffs. It's just positioning until freaking February.
Hockey's entertaining, whether you want to admit it or not. It's a good sport. And I like the Predators. They're my team. They're the only team I have that's like actually hometown for me.
You want to admit it or not. If it was, it would have better ratings.
Hey, look, it's got its fans. I like the Predators.
Regular
They're my only
season
hometown
hockey
team.
in October, please.
Go to a game. That's where the fun's at. Hockey games are fun.
You go to a game. Don't put that.
Oh, I have. I've been to several last year.
Awesome. Max, like, I'll save up my money for
I used to go to many Predator games, not in October. The season doesn't start until about April.
The only time I mean, I've been to a hockey game, a Lightning and a Bucks game back-to-back days one year. In 2019, I went to Bucks game on a Sunday, Lightning game on a Monday. That was a pretty fun back-to-back.
It's just like, don't at me with a college basketball game early November.
Mm-hmm.
The
Especially
only
nowadays.
thing I pay attention to is the rivalry game Florida State and Florida play every year. That's it. That's the one college basketball
with you
game
guys
I watch before New Year's.
It comes to baseball in the same way. So we all have our interests.
I don't mind college hoops early, but again, there's just so much parity.
But once again, that sport doesn't really begin until
March.
February. Well, late February, whenever the conference tournaments begin.
Mm-hmm.
Position all you want, but 66 or 68 teams make the playoffs. Is it really that important? I'd rather watch games that, eliminate teams.
Yeah.
Let's go Lightning, baby.
I understand why a lot of people don't watch baseball in, April or May or whatever. I mean, baseball's a little different because it's the story that's told in baseball because all the stats count and all that junk. But I understand why a lot of people, because if you're not a big baseball fan, why would you? Right. But if you're a fan of a team, typically folks watch their team throughout the summer. They don't watch all. I don't watch the damn Mariners play the Angels. What the hell am I, a mental patient? I might check the score and go, oh, wow, that was a great play. But I don't go, all right, let's go. Come on. 4 p.m. on a Sunday, to hell with the pool and a cold beer. Let me lock in here to this. No. And if it was good weather, I wouldn't do it with football. I'd be in the damn pool right now. We wouldn't be doing this show. We'd be doing it from the pool.
Poolside show.
I mean, I get good weather here, but the water gets pretty damn cold.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was time to stop drinking beer in the pool and watching football on the weekend. A couple of Saturdays ago, when I started to get to where I couldn't feel my lower extremities, about 2 hours into hanging out, I'm like, dude, I literally, I don't think I can feel my feet. I need to get out.
Time to get out of the water.
We have a rule in Florida: when the first hurricane comes through, it's kind of time to end pool season. It's over.
Yeah,
look, man, because I still look at it. My dog's a puppy, so she still tries to lure me in. Come on, Dad, let's go swimming. I'm like, no, it's too cold. The 9 beers in. Oh, maybe. Wife comes up. What are you doing? Nothing. We're not doing nothing.
Your foot's halfway in the water.
Yeah. I'm asleep again. I'm passed out. I have to amputate my toes. The guys are joining us here. So Tones, we got your stupid underdog. We did not get your lock. What's your lock?
My lock, I'm actually going in. Could I go into the world of baseball for a lock? Or is that frowned upon? All right. Well, that ends. It's all good.
I'll go. What's the line that you're taking?
Plus 100.
Okay.
Straight up.
Run line.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going with the Rays straight up plus 100. They're facing elimination today. They got Tyler Glasnow on the mound. He's looked incredible since he returned. It's going to be a bullpen game for the Rays. You'll probably get about 5 or 6 out of Glasnow, and then you'll come in with your big dogs like the Jason Adam of the world. I could see the Rays losing the series come Sunday. Don't get me wrong, but I can't see the Rays getting swept out of the building. If I was going to take a football game, I like the over in Bama and A&M, but
we'll let you take the Rays game. As long as it's not like a minus 180 type thing, at that point it gets a little absurd.
Yeah, it's pretty much straight up. Cleveland's minus 115. The Rays are plus 100. So I just don't see the Rays going down this easily. I don't see them getting swept. I don't see them having this good of a year for nothing. So I hope they win.
What's the over-under on Ryan Helsley crying today?
The over's already in. He already cried since he's been up this morning.
Take that, you titty baby bastard. What is your one big thing before you walk it off?
One big thing is Pittsburgh's never been such a big underdog in their history. They've been the only team in NFL history, the Steelers, not to get 14 points or more in a game. But if you look at it, last year they were getting, I think, 10 or 11 in Buffalo week 1 with Ben Roethlisberger, and Pittsburgh went in there and won. I'm not saying Pittsburgh's going to go in there and beat Buffalo, but expect that game to be a heck of a lot closer than Vegas does. I expect Mike Tomlin to go in there guns blazing. I expect Najee Harris to have his best game of the season yet. I expect Pittsburgh to easily cover that one and keep it, tooth and nails with Buffalo.
All right, brother. Well, we will see you on the flip side. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you guys enjoy it too. A big sports weekend. So, put your cheeks in a couch and just fix yourself.
Sounds good. All right. Welcoming on to the show is Sean and Steven. Let me get rid of this thing. This is looking too bad.
Glad to have another hockey fan in here.
This is too much Brady Bunch.
Love to see it.
Becoming a running bit, but what is going on, my guy? Do you have an audition for a David Koresh play today? Because the look is, I can't take the look, man. It's just too much for me.
Took me a second to figure out what you're talking about. Okay, I get it. Man, you're all kinds of red winged up, and you keep disappearing. That's kind of funny. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the cold and bold predictions. Started off with Bobby. What's your cold and bold prediction for fantasy football in week? And it's hard to believe it's already week number 5.
My bold prediction: I have Robert Woods having a big day on Sunday with Treylon Burks being out, and he's going up against a bad secondary in Washington. I think he's going to have a good day, and I think he's going to be worth what you can get him for in DFS. My cold one is Najee Harris, as Tones just alluded to. I'm on the opposite side of him. He hasn't been scoring much to begin with, and he's still pretty expensive. And obviously going up against a very stout defense in Buffalo. So it's going to be tough for him to put up points, especially with how he's been playing. So those are my cold and bold.
All right. Sean, what is your cold and bold prediction?
Is that this is the week, it pains me to say this, this is the week that Jared Goff hype train runs into a little bit of ice. I don't love that every time Belichick has faced him, he's played poorly. I don't think New England's defense is very good, but I also trust Belichick to be able to scheme something up to slow down Goff and basically, even if it's just force them to run the ball 40 times and dare them to beat him that way. I think this is the week where putting Goff in a DFS lineup could actually burn you. And then my bold this week, and we'll come back to this when I go through my lineup of integrity, since I was the winner last week. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the highest scoring quarterback in all of fantasy this week. I love the matchup. I love the fact that they're at home. I think a couple of guys have gotten healthy, and I'm just not a believer in anything that Houston's doing. And you saw Herbert. Herbert could have scored way more points. A lot of it was dump offs to Eckler last week, but they charged they always do, which was take a 4-touchdown lead and then let Houston get back into it. I don't think Doug Peterson will do any such thing.
And Steven, your cold and bold predictions.
Bold prediction. So it's looking like Cameron Brate, if it's not already official, he is going to be out this week. And Cade Otton is stepping in as the starting tight end for Tampa. He had 3 catches in the second half last week, and I expect Brady to look his way early and often. I mean, I'm not expecting a top 5 or anything, but I think he can easily work his way into a top 10 performance this week. And then cold prediction, I'm just gonna. This is gonna be more DFS. I think we see another week of just the high end running backs: Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook. I think they're we see another week of them not producing. It's just been a troubling trend we've seen all year. Most of those running backs are in the latter stages of their career in terms of like the prime, namely Henry and Cook. And I don't think they're going to get it going again this week.
All right. My bold prediction is that James Robinson is a top 5 fantasy football running back this week. My cold prediction, Christian McCaffrey will not be in the top 15. He's playing San Francisco. San Francisco's defense has looked very good. Carolina's offense has looked the exact opposite of whatever that is. And I just feel like, man, it really sucks because he still has the talent. It's got nothing to do with the talent. He's just not being utilized. And Matt Rule should be out the door, just like Hackett should be out the door. I don't understand why you take that job and don't understand that your best talent of the entire team is McCaffrey, and you got to get the ball in his hands. You got to find a way to get it in his hands in space. And it's absolutely dumbfounding at this point.
Same case can be made for DJ Moore in that offense. Get him in space, and he's a monster.
DJ
No,
Moore.
I don't think Baker can get him the ball very well.
It's kind of funny because it's funny that you would trash Derrick Henry, but you would be all about some DJ Moore. It's like, what are we talking about here? I mean,
I'm not saying he's going to do good. I'm just saying that he has the talent. That's all I said.
He's not wrong. No, Steven's not wrong about that at all.
I just said DJ Moore's talent.
That's what every fantasy head says, but yet he never performs. So I have to kind of, I don't know. And I mean, as far as Henry has had over 80 yards rushing through the 4 weeks. So, to say he's on the backside I still think he's got this year, maybe 1 year more. I do believe running backs, once they hit 30, you're kind of playing with fire. What is he? He's 28 this year. So,
I mean, it's not even an age thing. It's just more I think it's kind of the same thing with pitchers. Like once you hit a certain inning threshold, that's kind of like as a whole when
the numbers aren't supporting that. I mean, if you look at him, he had 114 yards last week, 114, 5 yards a carry, 5.2 yards a carry. That's above league average against a really good Colts defense. So it's that part doesn't hold water. And the thing about McCaffrey is I can't bury him yet because I still think it's got a lot to do with Matt Rule.
And the only point I made is for DFS, they are not going to.
Oh no, I would
worth their value.
Oh yeah, now
that is what I said.
But what you said was that they're aging running backs that they're over that's not really the case. 28 is still in your prime as a running back. McCaffrey, if we're gonna bury McCaffrey, then you got to bury Moore because both of them still. If you believe DJ Moore has elite talent, then you have to believe that Christian McCaffrey has elite talent.
I never said he didn't.
It's the same offense, same head coach. You implied it though. You implied he was over the hill.
No,
we
I said
run it back, but
I don't think that 28's the prime of a running back though.
It is. It's
that's
like
the
right
backside
there
of the prime now.
That's the backside. Yeah, that's getting towards the end. I'd say once a running back hits 28, that's when I start questioning if I'm going to pick them in fantasy at all.
I wasn't even seeing from an age perspective. It was more like Derrick Henry. He's not that old, but he was getting 400 carries in high school. That continued through college. And I mean, that volume is way more than almost any other running back in the league right now. And that's got to add up at some point.
Yeah, but if you watch the game, and I'm not trying to attack you, so don't take it that way. But if you watch the games, Henry still has that second gear. But I can see where if it's not next year, the year after, I don't think he's going to have it. because he's going to continue. This year, I'm fine with him. Going forward, I would be a little hesitant. But the guy, because he gets so many touches, he's fantasy relevant. But I do agree that there's other ways to build your damn offense. You know, I don't know.
Did a big theory on this, the rule of 300. Anybody who goes over 300 carries, especially if they do it in consecutive seasons, his baseline was always DeMarco Murray, who did it once and then was completely out of the league 2 or 3 years later. I don't think that'll happen to Henry, but he had 303 carries in 19 and 378 in 2020. And to Mac's point, I mean, the daylight's running out when it runs out. I don't know. I think he's a unicorn. His body's unlike anybody.
Exactly. That's the point with him. He's 6'3", 260 pounds. And if y'all don't realize how big that is for a running back, I guess you just got to go down to a Titans game and go see Derrick Henry. Go, good God, a human is supposed to stop that. And it's not normal. Now a guy like McCaffrey,
5 inches taller.
Once
I tell you what,
his speed, his explosiveness, man, it's going to be difficult because you're like, okay, what do we have here? But any of these running backs could lose it at any time. And, I get that part. But I do agree. Like this week, I would not take Derrick Henry in DFS. But I'm not benching him in year long. There's no way in hell.
Oh, no. Yeah, that I was not. Yeah, I would never bench Derrick Henry in year long.
The question is, how is Tua's back?
Man, was it was a lot of quick jokes to that when Hines got lit up Thursday night. They were like, no, it's just his back. He'll be back in there soon. Man, there were like thousands of tweets.
It didn't
said his back hurts.
Bad.
He got hit in the back. He got hit in the back of the neck, and that's a place where you can really get your bell rung really bad.
Yeah, no, well, it was his head slamming on the ground, but it was just it didn't shock me that he got his bell rung. It was just the severity when he got up, man. Like you would have thought that he literally got hit by a brick. I mean, I was like, dude, think about all those people. Luckily, I didn't do it in any of my leagues. But I was thinking of all those people that rushed out to pick up Hines when they heard that Taylor was out. And then had to sit through that. God, anyone that sat through that damn game.
Should only get like a Medal of Honor.
Did y'all hear the clip? I meant to grab it. It's my bad for not recording, but did y'all hear the clip of it was Herb Street and Michaels said, and this is Michaels being the ultimate professional. He was trying to engage the fans. This was around third quarter. He said, sometimes a game is so bad, it's actually good. You know what I mean? And Herb Street goes, no.
I was listening. I was watching live.
You'll notice right after that, Michael says, be careful. I was listening to the reaction the next morning on Boomer Esiason show, and he told a story of where it was the last game of the season, whatever. I don't know. I wish I could remember the game. You remember Esiason used to be in the booth, and he got whispered in his ear about don't put down the game, keep him engaged. And a Boomer kept trashing whatever game he was watching, saying, I don't even know why they're even playing this game. These guys are taking off. They're going to make sure they don't get hurt. They're ready to go play golf. It was like the last game of the season. It was two teams that weren't going to the playoffs. And they put Boomer in the booth, and he's just trashing the entire game. He said, yeah, that was officially my last game in the booth.
That kind of his Bill Walton moment.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, man, it was so funny because it's funny enough what Hershey said. It was so funny to him to go, be careful. Because, at some point, Al Michaels had that conversation. Don't
back into you and I've had side conversations about Sirius. You've gotten me back into listening to live radio. Boomer has a field of zero what's in it. Like, he does not care what you think of his opinion. He's going to give it no matter what. And I admire that because there's a lot of people on TV and especially on radio who are they're just trying to do the media.
Well,
they're just trying to toe the line.
See, the difference between Boomer and a lot of the other guys that are trying to make it. I think I heard the other day his net worth is $153 million, and he's 60 years old. So if he got fired yesterday, he'd be like, whatever, dude. And in this day and age, Boomer Esiason could start a podcast and make a lot of money, right? and he'd be fine. Truth be known, he might find out that he'd make more money than what he makes doing CBS and the radio show. I just think he enjoys doing the radio shows. So that's why he watches P's and Q's. But if y'all ever get a chance to watch that show, I highly recommend Boomer and Geo, because Boomer is a big time conservative that always has to bite his tongue, but every once in a while he lets it fly. And so the producer of the show is this big hippie, old hippie, who's a big time liberal, and he loves to try to jab him. And when he does start talking about something, he'll start putting in takes like this, and there's another Boomer hates Democrats take or something like that. And you see Boomer's face where he gets like beat red, where he's about to get pissed off and punch the guy. Anyways, let's go into DFS. Sean, you are the DFS man of the week
today. All right, I'll be quick going through my lineup for this week. I already gave a preview of this. My quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. I am actually doing a triple stack of this game because I'm adding James Robinson at $6,300. Thanks for the plug there, McGee. I won't say any more than what you said. I love Robinson this week against Houston. And I'm dropping in Christian Kirk. His target share is actually in the top 10% of all wide receivers in fantasy. Lawrence has looked at him a lot. I think there's a big blow-up game coming, and I would put pretty decent money on this week. At my second running back spot, I had to look at this twice because I couldn't believe it. I'm taking Damian Harris at home against Detroit, who has the 32nd ranked defense and the 32nd ranked rushing defense. And if you want to throw NCAA teams in there, they probably have like the 745th rushing defense, actually. Much as I love them, their run defense is horrible. I don't understand how Harris is only 5,600. I guess maybe it's just that Stevenson could go off too. But that's blows my mind. So he's an automatic add. Needed a cheap wide receiver, so I'm going to grab Bobby Trees at 5,200. I like the matchup at Washington. I think he started to get a little bit more integrated, and they've been doing some interesting stuff with him, even doing like end arounds, things like that. So he can get you some extra points there. And that left me some money to get a little creative. So Justin Jefferson's my third wide receiver at 8,900. I don't think the Bears are any good. I think they played bad offenses in their first handful of games. Minnesota's offense is not bad. And the Jefferson volcano is going to blow one of these weeks. And I would bet on this week. At tight end, this will surprise you. Will Dissly, 3,300. Here's a couple of tight ends who have scored less fantasy points this year than Will Dissly. Robert Tonyan, Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, all below Will Dissly in points this year. And I like the matchup with them going into New Orleans. New Orleans has given up the 7th most points to tight ends this year in fantasy. At my flex, I'm taking Tyler Algier at Tampa. I don't want to take anybody particularly against Tampa, but I do think Arthur Smith is going to cook up some interesting stuff and try and keep Tampa confused. And he was a big part of the offense last week. He had 10 total touches. He had over 100 yards of total offense, and I think he could vulture a touchdown or two. And then defense this week, there's really no other choice for me but the San Francisco 49ers at Carolina for $3,800. I think they're 5th in the rankings. I don't see how they're not first. If you've watched the Niners defense, they're insane. And if you've watched Carolina's offense, it is also insane and not in a good way. So that's it.
All right. Sounds good. Whose turn is it to go this week? Anyone remember?
It should be yours, and then it would be mine next week.
Oh, it's mine. Oh, my bad. So I'm not organized. Let me go ahead and let me see here. Let's go with I hate this does not show up the same way it shows up on the app. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it out this way. Does it? Nope. Still garbage. All right, whatever. Let me swing in here. By the way, Steven, Tua, what's the timeline on him? Because I've heard people suggest that he may not come back this year.
I have absolutely zero idea, to be honest.
It's
all I know is Teddy Bridgewater's playing this week.
All right, Monday Night Football. Let's swing for the fence. Derek Carr, excuse me, and give me some Devontae Adams. They should be playing from behind the entire way. And you'll pay high for Adams, but I think it'll be worth it. And Carr saves you a little bit of money. All right, who's next?
I'll take it.
Should be next. Yeah.
So let's go let's get some Chiefs in there. It's so hard to take Travis Kelce at 7,700. So I'm going to go down and get Juju Smith-Schuster. He's still at 5,400. He's still affordable. He's got 8 targets last week. I still think he's bound to go off at some point.
The most points in fantasy to slot receivers, which is not an insignificant data point. So that's a good one.
Who's next?
Sean or Bobby?
I'll take over, I guess. All right, I'll go with Hollywood Brown then. Should say Marquise on there, but he's my guy. He's been getting a ton of targets in the Cardinals offense. Obviously, he's going to keep doing that until D-Hop comes back probably, which I still think he'll get a ton of targets. And yeah, I just think he's going to have a nice week and he's going to continue producing like he has been.
Who was that again? Sorry, it cut out.
Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown. Okay.
7,200.
Sean?
I'm going to grab a running back, and we're going to do a little bit of bargain shopping here. But we're gonna double down on something we did last week that worked out greatly for us. DeAndre Swift is still out this week. Jamal Williams at $6,500 at New England. I do think Belichick's going to force them to run the ball pretty heavily. And he catches more passes than people realize, or at least he's more of the pass production than I think people realize. So he could have one of those, all over.
Okay, my turn. We've spent a lot of money, so we're going to run out of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to save us some money on the defensive side of it. Let's take the Panthers at home against San Francisco. Should be a low-scoring, ugly, boring-ass game, and hopefully Jimmy Garoppolo throws a pick 6 or something.
All right. So since you went defense there, I'm going to save us a little bit more money and give us some more wiggle room. I took him in my lineup. I mentioned him earlier, K. Dotton, 2,500. He's the bare minimum on DraftKings. And he should easily pay off his value if he gets anywhere near the target volume he saw just in the second half last week. Now he gets to face Atlanta, who is one of the worst teams against the tight end. You just got to type his name in. I don't know exactly where he is.
It took me a second to find him. Otton.
There it is.
Hey,
your mic kind of cut out, so I wasn't 100% sure who you said. I thought that's who you're referring to. Okay. Whose turn is it now?
I think it's back to me.
Okay.
All right, I'll go with one of my guys, or my boom of the week. I'll go with Robert Woods in the flex and give you guys some money to play with at running back here.
He was 52, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So, Sean, that leaves you with 6,200 at the running back position. Does that get our guy in there? Is he about that?
It's one of them, at least.
Ooh, we can get
you just miss him. This is what I would suggest to do if you want to put Robinson in there. We can save some money and take a defense that isn't the Panthers.
I think if you go $100 down, I think it's Cowboys against the Rams.
The Rams with all they chuck the ball around and give it away? Hell yeah.
Well, that and the Cowboys have a good defense. You know they're going to put pressure on
hot garbage. Everybody but Havenstein on that line is getting busted up every week.
Is
Absolutely.
that where you want to go? Is Robinson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robinson and the Cowboys. Yeah, I love that.
All right. So there you go. That is the lineup there. Carr, Williams, Robinson, Adams, Schuster, Marquise Brown, Otton, Woods, and the Cowboys. this feels like a week that Godwin's finally going to get off the mat.
Yeah, I mean, like everything I'm seeing, he is fully healthy now, completely off the injury report. I can definitely see it.
All right, let's go ahead and get out of this share here. Let's go ahead and take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk NFL and college football lines. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
G'day. Hi, it's Dean, calling from Cyprus.
Buongiorno, Dino.
My mate wants me to rub sun cream on his back.
Holy dooly. A delicate matter, but a burnt wingman is useless. So there are rules.
Okay.
Only put cream where he can't reach. Between his shoulder blades. The safe zone.
Anything else?
Whack it on thick, mate. Last thing you want to do is a second coach.
And remember, Dino, the following things are not permitted.
Eye contact.
Scented candles.
Power balance.
And do not apply if he's wearing budgie smugglers.
Are we all clear?
Crystal. Cheers, fellas.
No dramas.
Armchair.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves, to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October, bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com Armchair Quarterbacks 1, home of Braves Country Baseball and the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, Saturday mornings, youtube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. CBS Sports Radio. Stephen Troche, Bobby Schneider, and Sean Tools here somewhere. I don't know if we had to hit the can or something. I'm Mac McGee. And big day of football ahead of us. Huge day next week. We were talking about that earlier. Cannot wait till next week. Next week, it's going to be hard to squeeze in NFL talk. But the NFL... slate. Let's do that first, and then we'll go into the college football slate and get into our locks and everything. NFL slate. Steven, I'll start with you. What's the line that you're looking at right now? Not necessarily your
Actually, go to someone else. I'm still getting the ESPN lines pulled up.
Okay. Bobby, what about you?
Man. I'm looking at Patriots Lions over 45.5. I know both I know Mac Jones is banged up going into this game, but the Patriots have shown that they're capable of giving up points as they have the last 2 weeks. And the Lions, that's not a question with them. They've been giving up crazy amounts of points. So I think, if both offenses can just play decent, I think the over hits pretty easily in that game.
45.5. I'm seeing 57 degrees. The one thing I would check on that to see what the wind is like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you though. I mean, the Lions defense has not been good at all. Patriots have given up a lot of points. I'm a little concerned if I'm a Patriots fan at this point.
Mm-hmm. A little.
Normally they find their way. I know, but normally they find their way, right? Like even last year, that team wasn't very impressive. Somehow made it into the playoffs. And I don't know, like this might be tanking for Tua type of season.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the prospects coming out next year, I could easily see it.
Who's the number one quarterback in your mind, Steven?
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be between Stroud and Young. I'm gonna stick with Bryce Young at this point.
Yeah, I think I take him over Stroud. I don't know, man. That's such a tough one.
Or the Will Levis hype train. That's
I
haven't stopped hearing about that
the
for weeks.
day, man. Yeah, one of them. I don't know if I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of the prognosticators has him as the number one quarterback in this coming drafts at this point. I'm like, man,
I think it's Todd McShay.
Nothing against him personally. When you tell me you're drafting a quarterback out of Kentucky, number one overall, the first thing that pops in my head is Tim Couch, and I'm like, oh. It's easier to sell to your fan base for getting the best quarterback that Alabama has seen, the best quarterback that Ohio State has seen in a while, as opposed to going, we're going to get Kentucky's quarterback. Let's go. Your fan base better be from around that area.
Yeah.
There's a reason I haven't heard his name more because he's insane.
Right, but he's Kentucky, and so it's like one of those things. It's like I know they've got a good football team, but I have to wrap my head around the fact that you're drafting Tim Couch too. What year is Malik Cunningham? He's an interesting one. I feel like he's got to be a junior by now.
Yeah, either redshirt sophomore or a junior.
So he's a project. He's a guy you draft in the 3rd, 4th round. But man, that dude is insane athletically.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the KJ Jefferson at Arkansas in that same bracket, somebody's going to take him in the 4th or 5th and turn him into something.
Cunningham, even though he went to Louisville, he's not Lamar Jackson because he doesn't have the physicality. But man, he is lightning quick.
Taking your Titans bias aside, who do you think pans out better, Malik Willis or Malik Cunningham?
Unfortunately, I think they might be the same person. I've never seen them in the same room at the same time.
That is true.
Man, the problem is the Titans won't draft him because they just took a 3rd round pick, and they're gonna force that round hole in the square peg. But man, he's enticing. I would really love to see Cunningham. I guess it could. Ritter wasn't that high of a pick. I would love to see him go to a team that has a turf and just see what the hell he could do, like in Atlanta, Detroit. Have him learn behind golf. I don't even know why. I'm a fan of Malik Cunningham's, but I love watching the kid play. I have lost more money on Louisville football thinking they're going to
hit him in the third or fourth round.
Like, I never think they're going to freaking win. I just think they're going to hit the over. And I'm like, let's go. I'm starting to think it might be our friend Will's fault because of the last name.
Oh, yeah.
I think I go, yeah, man. Come on, man. Let's go. I don't know. But I do like watching him play. I know one thing. Jordan Travis and Van Dyke are most likely to be those guys that get called after the draft at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Van Dyke's going to have a hard interview process too, because try to walk back the fact that you trashed your fan base, right? In an NFL job interview, which is what these are. That's going to be a hard sell.
The leader in the clubhouse for first quarterback to transfer in the portal this offseason. I don't know where he goes, but I don't think he's coming back to Mario. No way.
Who, Van Dyke? Man, how old is he? Steven?
The ACC last year.
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's a true sophomore or he's a COVID sophomore?
COVID sophomore, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
eligibility, he's going to end up somewhere in a different Power 5 place. I don't know where it's going to be, but there's no way he's there next year. None. Zero. The guy they have behind him is better than him for the way Cristobal wants to run an offense. You saw that when they brought Garcia in against Middle Tennessee State. He led the only competent drive they had the whole game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his age. All I see is
he's a redshirt sophomore.
Trying to find his age. I go to his Wikipedia page and I don't have an age.
Probably like 20, 21.
Dude, that guy looks like he's like 50.
It's Jason Witten's twin.
He's got like a receding hairline that's funny. That's funny that his age isn't in there.
It's not even on his University of Miami bio.
We got another Danny Almonte is what we got. We're on to something. Let's go.
I mean, do they like? Why would a college team want a 40-year-old quarterback, though?
I mean, Chris Winkie won a national championship. He was damn near 40.
Yeah.
Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma State. He'd been there forever.
You know, he kind of looks like Whedon.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up right now. ESPN. He's got no age. Birthplace, Connecticut. Birth age, nothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of
fishy.
thrown here.
Something's fishy. It's okay. Now I found some random famousbirthdays.com, which looks like it was put together between me and Sean overnight over beers. This website.
I just found the same one.
It says he's 21. I don't know.
I'm seeing 22 now.
Are you?
No, it's actually 21. I did bad math. Yeah, he's 21.
He's 21. I'm 35. That dude is not 21 years old.
No, you want to hear something that's going to be shocking? When the Saints go into New Orleans and win, when the Seahawks go into New Orleans and win this week. I really think they got a shot to pull it upset. I mean, I get Seattle +5 right now. I mean, that feels like a good enough bet, but I mean, there's no Michael Thomas, no Jameis Winston. Gino's looking.
No, but I'll tell you what, who's a decent idea, and I know it's going to be difficult to get him the ball, but Chris Olave should have a field day.
Oh yeah, no. Well, yeah, I mean, right now he's projecting out as the most popular receiver in DFS. So I mean, no, you're not alone in that thinking.
I don't know if them not having Jameis is a disadvantage with how he was playing before he got hurt.
I know, but he can still sling it, man. Like he might sling it to the wrong jersey 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But he's still going to get you the ball. Like you don't give a damn DFS wise if Jameis throwing it. I'm not stacking Jameis when he comes back, but I'm saying You know,
I am.
Give me some Olave action, because that Seattle defense got torched. And it's still ranking, like you go to the different sites, they still rank them fairly high with the good defense. I'm like, how? They'll say like against receivers, like it's decent. I'm like, no, it's not. I forget
They
what
look decent
side I was
because
on.
the running back gets like 300 yards in one game.
I mean, Seattle and there was a TJ Hawkinson sighting for the first time since 2019 because of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Other NFL lines that everyone's got a hankering for before we switch over to college football that jump out at you?
Cincinnati plus 3.5. I know they're getting like Baltimore is essentially getting the home field advantage with that +3, but I think Burrow shows up in prime time. That Ravens defense is just bad with all the injuries.
What about that over-under sit at 48? That seems gettable.
Oh yeah.
Earlier, I've got
as a teaser over-unders. How about Eagles Cardinals are 49, Bengals Ravens 48, and you just drop them both.
Love it.
Because Jalen Hurts versus, I hope we get an entertaining game, not just for our friend Bobby, but I hope we get an entertaining game. Because when you hear Jalen Hurts versus Kyler Murray, like you want to see the ball light up through the air.
Mm-hmm. Kyler's 4-0 against former Oklahoma quarterbacks, so far so good. I don't know if that'll continue on Sunday, but
were they all
3 of them Baker, 1 Hurts. So
baseball stats that McGee hates, where early in the season we get all these. He's the first player since the Kennedy administration to have 3 bunt singles in his first 19 at-bats against the Mets on a Tuesday. That stuff pops up on Twitter early in the year. McGee's just like, what are you doing? It's not real.
No, the one I hate the most, what do they call it? The win rate percentage, and they'll drop it to you in the first quarter. It's like 7-3. And like, they have a 32% of winning this game. Like, how the hell would you even know this, man? You got to play the game.
NFL, I'm going to just take one for the road really quick. I put this in a dead man spread with Cleveland and Seattle. Dallas plus 5.5 at the Rams. I don't know if I'm the only person that's watched the Rams this year, but I don't think they're good. And maybe that's just the Lions fan in me, hoping they only win 5 games so that the pick they owe us is better. But I don't think they're good. I really don't. And I think Dallas is better than they are. I do not get that one at all.
No, I mean, like you're not wrong. Something just seems off in LA right now. I don't know if it was just that like Odell really provided that much of a spark at the end of the season, but man, it just they don't look right.
And they're begging you to take that over at 42 because you think of the glitz and glamour of the star positions for the Cowboys and the Rams, but it's going to be hard to get to 42 in that game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just classic Super Bowl hangover for the Rams. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some more college football talk as we start to wind this down. I want to get everyone's take. First and foremost, Tennessee, LSU. Tennessee giving up 3 on the road. We'll go round robin here. Bobby, who you got?
I got Tennessee covering the spread. They're playing great football right now, and they're a better team than LSU. The only hope for them is that they don't get caught sleeping. I know LSU is not a terribly impressive, opponent for them, but if they play, their head on straight, they should win that game pretty handily.
Sean, what say you?
Daniels has looked a lot better the last 4 games than he did in the first game against Florida State, but I'm still not a believer on that guy. And I think Hayden Hooker, not to borrow quotes from the Gen Zs and millennials that I don't understand, but everybody likes to say Hayden Hooker is him. I think that means he's good. He is very good, and I'm a believer.
Steven?
Yeah, I know. Tennessee runs away with this. I just thought like
LSU. By the way, it's dropped to 2.5 on Caesars.
Oh yeah, no. I placed a bet on it, or like Tennessee earlier. It started at minus 142, and then it went down to minus 135. So I'll take it.
I mean, some money's come in on LSU. They're wanting people to. I feel like Tennessee's the better team. We'll find out, I guess, at kickoff. I do think Tennessee gets a huge advantage. This game is at noon and not at 7:30 in Death Valley. Next game. Look, I took Missouri as my stupid underdog pick. I do like them a lot at +11. I think I got them actually at +12 early in the week. Anyone like that, or are y'all thinking the Gators are going to roll the Tigers?
I don't mind Missouri +11. I think it could be a close game. I think it could be a dogfight, but I do think Florida wins.
I think it'll be a lower scoring game too than what it's an early kickoff is the reason why I say that. Usually, like being college kids, I mean, they're still scratching their butt at noon Eastern. 53.5. And Missouri's going to try to slow the rock down. Sean, can I entice you with Georgia -28 against Auburn? Will they cover that spread?
Actually been looking at today as a downfield cover. Auburn's not as bad as their record and the press around them would have you believe they are. They're not good, but they're better than Missouri, and Missouri almost got Georgia last week. So I know it's between the hedges and it's not in Columbia like the game was last week, but I think Auburn can cover the 28. Now I say that, and then Brock Bowers is going to score 5 touchdowns before I have lunch. But I think Auburn can cover that. Absolutely. You can talk me into that.
The disrespect that Auburn and Georgia is the CBS game of the week is unreal. They are telling the Tennessee fan base is that you're trash. Because Tennessee's 8th in the country's LSU's ranked at 25th. That should be the SEC game of the week since A&M fell off the wayside, but they pre-did this. They did this ahead of time. They made A&M and Alabama so they get 2 night games a year now, and this is one of them. But they have to pre-choose them early in the season. So it's Alabama, A&M. I don't remember if they took Alabama, LSU or not, or if it's a different game as the night game. I think Florida state laws do not permit it to be Florida, Georgia. I don't think you're allowed to kick that game off past 3:30 in the afternoon. So there's not enough. We don't get a bunch of knife fights at 1 a.m. in Duval County.
Yeah.
Steven knows. He's like, man, that game at night here, dude. I am locking the doors and hiding under the bed.
That game's bad enough at 3:30.
The purge is real.
Sitting in an ale house 20 miles away from the stadium.
SEC. By the way, Alabama's a 24-point favorite. That's insane. Real quick, let me get y'all stupid underdog picks. Sean and Steven.
Been taking because I got a couple options here. I don't like to replicate.
All right. I'll go first.
Sorry. Army. Doug took Army. Tones took Kansas. Bobby took Oklahoma. Joey took Arizona, and I took the Missouri Tigers.
Okay. Choices. So I'm going to grab. Go ahead. You go ahead, Trosh. All right. I'm going to take my backup then. Since Kansas was my option 1, I'm going to take my option 2. And I'm going to take the Cougars of Washington State at USC, getting 12.5. I'm not a believer in Lincoln Riley, especially not his defense. And you'd be forgiven for not having watched as much Washington State as I have, because I do love me some Pac-12 after dark. Washington State is solid. They're very, very solid. And 12.5 is a lot.
Yeah, like that leaves my number 1 pick. I was thinking about going Indiana. I got a bad feeling about that game for Michigan, but I'll leave you alone, Sean. But I'm swinging for the fences today. I'm down bad. I need to catch Doug. I'm going for Boston College. I'm going for Boston College over Clemson. They have that game has been decided by 6 points each, like the last 2 times they've played. Boston College is a much better team at home, and Clemson has had those 2 very emotional games the last 2 weeks, and I think they could be a letdown spot here.
How the hell is that the ABC game of the week?
Because Miami tanked.
they've got more than the ACC to choose from.
Oh, I know.
They're lined up with the Big 10, ACC, and Big 12. They could pick anything. I don't know how they didn't get the Kansas game.
No, that I understand. I think it probably would have been BYU Notre Dame, but that just Notre Dame has an NBC contract.
No, but I'm talking about what they could have chosen. I mean, I guess if Florida State would have beaten Wake Forest, they could have made it that.
Yeah.
I still think that's a better game to put on. They've got that on the ACC network at 8:00. I still think that's a much better game to put on Florida State, NC State. I think these executives fall in love with, they think they have to have a top 5 team on the docket.
Yeah, that plus just the recency bias of Clemson being so good that people will gravitate towards that more than.
I am not watching that. That game is going to suck.
Well, you know what you're doing.
If we look at now, maybe they grabbed it early, and maybe that's why FS1 has it, right? Am I on the right week? Yeah. TCU's Kansas. There's not, my God, I would even rather watch Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. But I cannot believe that their default is always go to Clemson.
Yeah. No, I agree there.
Boston College fans don't watch football. They're still bummed out that the Red Sox suck.
Bruins losing it.
In South
there you go.
Carolina,
Another hockey plug for us, Bobby.
Yeah, South Carolina is not a very heavily populated state, so it dumbfounds me that so many other options that they could have went with, but whatever. All right, so let's move on. Sean, Washington State, Trosh with Boston College. Everyone's trying to chase down Doug, and Bobby's now in the mix there. Bobby's sitting at 21, Doug's at 26.5. They're far and above. Tones is at 11.5, Joey's at 9.5, and the rest of us we are the bungles right now, as Boomer used to always say back in the day. I won't call them the Bengals until they have a winning record. So we are below the Mendoza line, as they like to say. We will leave that at that. All right. Big back to college football spreads. Any one of them else jumping out at y'all as I try to scan around to see if I can find anything?
We do our locks, because I've got one that's a lock that I'm keep staring at it. I can't believe it's real, but I don't want to waste it right now. Unless you want to do locks.
No, I'll tell you one, because I'll tell you one that's interesting. UCLA, Utah. UCLA's the home team. They're getting 3 points. I like that game a lot.
Yeah.
They're must-watch TV. That's a heck of a game. If you haven't watched UCLA yet, watch
64.5. And why is that game 3:30? Fox, you screwed up, bro. You should have made that the night game.
Yep, prime time.
California, Los Angeles, it's 12:30 local time. What the hell are they doing? Oh, we want to make sure everyone stays locked in for the Washington State USC game. Oh, that's what it is. They chose USC over UCLA. I don't know. All right. Yeah. What the hell? Let's go ahead and do our locks and everything else. Sean, you seem chomping at the bit. What's your lock of the week?
Just thinking it isn't real, but BYU's getting 4 going in to South Bend. Maybe I'm the only one that's watched BYU more than once. BYU is much better than Notre Dame. And not only are they much better than them in South Bend, they're much better than them on a neutral field. They're much better than them on the moon without gravity boots. I don't care where they're playing this game. BYU is going to dog walk Notre Dame. And I don't understand how they are getting 4. So please lock that for me. I've done very well with the Big 12 this year. I had TCU last week, and that paid off nicely for me, not only here on the show, but also in my pocket. And there's no way BYU doesn't. I can't lock this fast enough. Lock it.
All right. Who wants next?
I'll jump in.
Go ahead and take. No, you got it. It's you, Sean.
No, I mean, like this one I saw earlier, and I kind of feel the same way about Sean. That Cincinnati and Baltimore game, the over/under at 48. Man, with that, like Baltimore defense, as injured as they are, Lamar and Joe Burrow usually tend to show up on prime time, and I just think that game's a 35, like a 42-35 shootout waiting to happen.
All right, Mr. Schneider.
Yes, sir. All right, Titans. They did me well last week. They successfully won me my lock of the week. I had them on the spread, and I have them again this week. Titans minus 1.5 against Washington. I think they'll get that probably pretty handily.
Minus 1.5. All right, I'm going to double dip as well. I don't think they're getting the respect that they deserve. And I think it's because of their name. But if there's one thing I've learned about college football this year is that Georgia Tech is absolutely garbage. And Duke is only giving up 3.5 points on the road to the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. So I'll lay the 3.5. I know I'm asking a lot for the Blue Devils to cover 2 weeks in a row, but they almost beat Kansas. And if you watch that game, they got off to a terrible start and hung in there. That's their only loss of the season. They manhandled Virginia last week. And man, I just think Georgia Tech is when there's already rumors circling around that Deion Sanders could be your head coach. How the hell are you focusing on this week's game against Duke? So I'm going to take Duke. What is your one big thing, Bobby, as you walk us off?
All right, I'm going to the primetime Sunday night football game tomorrow. I got the Ravens. They're going to get a big win. Not, well, a close win, but a big win against their division rival, the Bengals, after a heartbreaking loss last week. I got the Ravens bouncing back.
Huh. All right. What's the score?
I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I'm going to say 34-31, a close one. Entertaining game.
They do tend to have their number. It's weird. Was that last year that they went in and just absolutely dog stomped them in Kansas City?
Who was that?
You were saying the Raiders, right?
No. The Sunday night football game. The Ravens Bengals.
Raiders. You said Sunday night Ravens.
Ravens, yes. Ravens. Oh. I think the Ravens are going to get a divisional win, a big one on Sunday, 34-31. But now that you mentioned the Raiders, they do tend to have the Chiefs number. I'm not going to guarantee a win, but I'm very hesitant to bet on the Chiefs.
So you're contradicting everything Steven said about the Baltimore-Cincinnati game.
Not quite, because he said it could be a high-scoring.
Well, I know
game.
He said that he felt like the Cincinnati was going to. I think
I got the opposite team. Yeah, I think the Ravens bounce back.
It's one of the few times that I'll say that I'm actually excited about the Sunday night game. A lot of them, man, you're like, dude, what the hell have you done to us? Steven, what is your one big thing?
I mentioned it earlier, but I can't really get away from it. I think Seahawks are going to win again this week, and I think Gino's the real deal.
We got to all chip in and get you a Gino jersey or something.
I mean, he won me hundreds of dollars last week in DFS, so that right there.
Did you hear his quote? I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sure you can pull it up somewhere. But he was asked by one of the local reporters, and it was a legitimate question. He said, talking about his numbers, because he's 77% completion rate, and the guy just basically brought up the fact that he's shocking everybody. And he said, beginning of the season, would you have thought this? And he says, you wouldn't have. He goes, no, honestly. He goes, it's a nice surprise. He goes, he's got such a chip on his shoulder. He goes, that's because you ain't ever seen me spin it. I'm like, the guy wasn't even coming at him. He was just saying, dude, you're Geno Smith. The only thing I know about this is what I would say. The only thing I know about you is you shut your mouth off and got your damn jaw broke. That's all I know about you. Who the hell was it that punched him into oblivions when he was with the Jets? Do you remember?
It's some defensive lineman. Trying to think who it was.
Oh, I thought it was a defensive back, but whoever it was.
No.
Blunt? Where was he in the league at that point?
No, that wasn't. He did punch people.
No, but LeGarrette Blount got into a fight at a little league, I think, football game this week.
I thought that was Aqib. Oh no, Aqib Talib was before that.
It was one of his teammates that punched him.
Right.
I mean, he's not in the league anymore, but it was basically a practice squad defensive lineman.
It was a
and if I recall, he went to the Bills after that. That was his next team. Forget who it was. I forget his name, but if I remember it correctly.
IK NM Kampali.
Oh yeah. All I know is that Geno Smith's always had lips on him. Like he's always had an alligator mouth that's overloaded his catfish ass. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, LeGarrette Blount got into a fight at a little league football game this week.
I feel sorry for the dude he fought.
Yeah,
I didn't see the video. I don't know if he won or if it was an actual fight, right? I mean, you'd be surprised. You get one of these scrappers who scrap from way back, and he's going to teach LeGarrette Blount a thing or two.
I don't know if there was a winner. I'm betting on it being LeGarrette Blount.
I would think, but you don't know who he fought.
That's true.
Yeah, he could have been fighting the next coming of Kimbo. We don't know that.
Right. Or he could have just fought a dude with a Napoleon complex that had a switchblade on him. Sean, what you wanting, big thing?
No way parlay for this week. I've got the Giants money line, the Lions money line, and the Jets money line. You take all three of those, and it's plus 547, which means $8 win. Giants, Jets, and Lions. Giants, Jets, and Lions. You couldn't be any further away from sanity by putting those three teams on one ticket, but I didn't.
Giants, man.
Hey, weird things happen in London. Those games are always kooky. So in London. And hey, just a little extra added flavor this week. I'm calling this the dead man spread. So this is three games I like against the spread, teams getting points only. Seattle +5, Dallas +5.5, Cleveland +2.5. You put those three together, it's 7-1. So I've got those two tickets out there today.
My one big thing is all the games are kicking off. We will get 3 game threes tomorrow in Major League Baseball, at least 3. I feel like they're going to even up a little bit. Everyone's going to overreact and think it's all over. The one that I would suspect is probably most likely going to lose would be, strangely enough, man, it may be the home team, St. Louis, because Nola versus Mikolas, and we'll see if
both in big trouble.
Sean, wanted to let you know the reason why I hated Ryan Helsley so much. You were asking me yesterday. It's very related to what you sent us a chat about recently. He is the guy that complained about the tomahawk chop in his Cherokee heritage back in the 2019 series.
On Facebook by a whole pack of woke flakes for saying the chop is not offensive in any way. And regardless of how you feel about the name Braves, it is in no way insulting and does not use offensive iconography and has not for years, unlike the Indians and the Deadskins. And it should not be removed. And the chop is not a bad thing. My whole family did it when we were there for Hank Aaron weekend. I'm starting to.
Well, the other thing is the Native American tribes around Atlanta have all embraced the Braves name, the chop, everything about the Braves. But Helsley goes and claims that he's X amount Cherokee, and I'm like, welcome to the club, jackass. Like, if you're from the South, you probably got some Cherokee in you. I hate to tell you. It's a good chance.
Makes me want to go full Forbes. I mean, full Forbes.
It's like saying,
for our friend James Forbes.
Yeah, it's like saying, someone standing around Boston goes, you better watch out, man. I don't think I like St. Patrick's Day. I'm a little bit Irish. Shut up, you jackass. I'm a little bit rock and roll. Anyone got any last
Enjoy
words?
The games, boys.
Anyone got any last words before we dip out?
I hate that I have to watch the Hurricanes today.
What time is that game?
3:30. or 4 o'clock.
Well, good luck to your Canes. I'm going to try to be nice today. Good luck to your Canes. Good luck to your Gators. Florida State's going to need some. We're on the road at NC State. And every time we play there, it rains sideways. So I'm assuming that the hurricane, what's it called? Ian, it probably just did a U-turn and is heading towards the NC State Stadium. So we'll see y'all. Great job, guys.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Goodbye, sweetheart. It's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. The Armchair Quarterbacks bring you Braves Country Baseball every Tuesday and Friday night, play-by-play with Mac McGee. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette and please get